Comeuppance Network. This is How to Watch TV.
Game of Thrones with Joel and Jeremy. My name is Joel.
I'm Jeremy. We are brought to you by Comeuppance Network. You can check out all of our social media sites at thisishowtowatchtv.com and email us at thisishowtowatchtv@gmail.com.
All of those things are accurate.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everybody's going to the wrong fucking site.
Right. Check out all the other shows on Comeuppance Network, Lost to Time, the other podcasts that we do, blah, blah, blah. You know, if you like the stuff we do, you probably have already checked around, so it's no big deal. You know where it all is. It's easy enough to find. We are here to talk about the finale.
The Christmas episode.
The Christmas episode of Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 7. What was that? The Wolf and the...
The Wolf and the Dragon.
Okay, I thought it was going to be that. The Wolf and the Dragon.
I was going to say The Wolf and the Lion, but we've already had an episode called The Wolf and the Lion. Pretty sure that was a Season 1 episode.
Interesting. Okay. So just
I think it's I'm pretty sure it's the episode where Jaime and Ned fight.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
The Wolf and the Dragon.
What happened in this episode?
What happened?
What happened in this episode?
Well, for the first
that's
time...
my new segment there.
What happened?
It's what happened.
Okay. For the first time ever in the history of the series, we had all of the principal characters on screen all at one time. And all in one place. I don't think that's ever happened. Maybe in the very beginning.
We're only missing like 3.
Where they're dead.
No,
Or
we're
who?
only missing 3 that weren't there. The ones that were not in King's Landing, Winterfell.
Oh,
Like,
Sansa.
Baelish, Sansa, Bran.
Sansa, and Bran. Okay.
And Arya. If they had all been there, then yeah,
Right.
it'd be like, holy fucking
Okay, so
shit.
not
But yes,
all, for
that
most
is-
of the principal
I'm
characters.
not trying to dismiss
That was
it
the
either
most
because
principal characters we've ever had
it's
on screen
a
ever at one time.
shitload of-
It's seriously.
yeah.
I mean, Varys, Theon,
They
Jon.
understated Varys in this episode, didn't they?
They've understated Varys this season.
Well, I mean, he had a couple good bright spots
Yeah.
in this
Well,
season.
his discussion with Daenerys was really
Yeah,
good.
That's
Anyway,
all he's got to do.
right. Well, that's what he does, is talk. I get it.
Right.
I mean, like, I don't even want to go through the name them all, but there was a bunch, and it was really cool. Did you notice the Hound's complete change in demeanor?
You mean
Like, he just seems like the kind-eyed burned guy now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he didn't seem like the imposing, like, I guess when he had to cuss a couple of people out, you still don't
Right.
want to fuck with him, but he just seems like a different dude, man. He really does. Like,
Yeah.
like him hanging with those religious people last season, or like however much time he spent with them, really had an effect on him
yeah,
and turned him into a good dude. Man, he's a good dude. Like,
it appears
Right?
It appears to be. Yeah.
right.
What else did we get? We got what I think was the worst of all of the CGIs. Not just the wall coming down, but the fucking Night King on the white dragon. Ugh. I just, for some reason, I know that in a show with mystical things,
the parts with him, the parts where it was flying around, like the far out
Like
shots of it
zipping
breathing,
around.
like on the wall, like that was cool. But yeah, like the close-ups of him, like riding the dragon,
the zipping
dude.
around shot when it first came onto screen, and he like flew past because that dragon is way faster.
way faster.
It was so. It's like, okay, I get it. I'm watching a show and I'm rooting for a character that's this white-haired woman on a dragon. But there's something particularly ridiculous about this mythical being, the Night King, now writing it. It all of a sudden became a cartoon in that regard. Just for a second for me, for some reason.
No, listen.
I don't know why.
Listen. I'm not gonna disagree with you.
Okay.
I'm not gonna shoot you down or shit all
Right.
over you for it, because I'm not gonna say that I had the same exact feeling.
But something,
but like
right? It was
there was
weird.
no, like when the dragon zipped by, I was like, oh shit. But then he was riding it, and I was like, oh, he's riding it.
You know what it looked like? It looked like fucking Darth Maul riding a thing, like riding a seriously, riding like one of those fucking
blue Darth Maul, right?
What's a fucking vehicle in Star Wars, motherfucker?
How have I not noticed that? How have I not noticed that the Night King is blue Darth Maul? You're fucking ruined the villain for me. He is now blue Darth Maul.
You're welcome.
He just needs a blue lightsaber, and that's it. He's blue Darth. What the fuck, man? That's,
What do you
Night
mean?
King is the.
What do you mean? He threw-
Night King's
is that
a
high five
jackass
or
now.
Okay, he threw a
he's
blue
Darth Maul.
lightsaber at
No,
him.
that was a fucking get the fuck out of here. Lame.
I'm like, I'm not putting my hand
Oh,
up.
that
This
shit
is
was
not a high five.
hilarious. That's hilarious. hilarious. Sorry to go off on that tangent. Blue Darth Maul. That's
I mean,
amazing.
I just came up with that. It's not like I
That's-
had that in the
I-
back. I don't have
no.
that written anywhere on here.
No, okay, so fucking genius. Because I don't think I've ever heard that. The Blue Darth Maul is fucking
No,
hilarious.
I've literally never seen that anywhere. I'm not claiming it's that great,
Okay, you
but,
were saying Darth Maul riding a what?
but like writing like just
Like what? Like a bantha? Like he was riding like the fucking thing he cut open in
No,
the end?
no,
of the...
not like
I
that.
didn't. You're right. I didn't.
I mean a motorized thing, like almost like
Way cooler
the
if he's
version-
just on the ground, right?
the version of like a motorcycle in the
Yeah.
Star Wars world. That's what it felt like.
Now,
Like
so-
Darth
so
Maul
what-
riding that.
so
like
mu-
the hover bikes.
So much cooler if he's just leading it from the ground and just
I don't
directing
know.
the dragon.
Yeah, it just
and the
felt-
dragon's just he's not riding the
the
dragon.
shot of it, man.
I
it
didn't
just
like
felt
him riding the
so-
dragon. I'll give you that. I'll agree with you there.
Right, and I think the
a
wall coming
cartoon's
down
a
the
good
way
way-
it did was pretty anticlimactic. I'll put it that way for now. We'll get into the detail later. But
You
I,
talking about because of the magic thing being
I
mentioned
just
before?
feel like it was so like, oh, okay, that was it. You know, and I get it. You could say the dragon.
You know why? I think. Well, okay.
And like that could do it, but it felt
that's an
very.
okay. I still think the whole thing has a lot more impact if it happens at Castle Black.
Sure, but
The
maybe
whole
they're
thing,
saving that
and
for
then
some
Ed
reason.
and fucking everybody's running and shit like that. All the characters we know from. I don't know how many more do we know at Castle Black now. I guess.
But what about
But,
this?
like-
What if they go past it and they recruit them, and they're the first ones that they see? Like all of the Night's Watch that was left at Castle Black are in the Army of the Dead. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Coming
so
down
what
and,
they
you know,
swept because like that doesn't make sense.
Well, they would have
geographically.
to do that. I mean, they could do that. Is all I'm saying. They could go. There's
So we don't even
moving
get to
there.
see them die. We just
They
put
would
up a
just-
fight.
I'm not
They're
saying
just.
one way or the other, but I was just thinking maybe that's why they spared them in that because it was about.
I'm saying
tormenting
that
them.
if we see a location that we've been with since season 1 get torn to the ground, it has more impact than Eastwatch, which it's only popped up this
like
season.
2 episodes back, yeah,
It's been there,
yeah,
but we've never been there.
right. We've heard of it,
We've heard of it,
right?
but
So
like
I
I'm
mean-
saying, like they just tore down just a little corner of the wall, just a little.
And
tiny
then we
bit.
had the other big plot point, obviously, besides aunt and nephew fucking, was the
You
stuff
knew that
with
was
the-
going to happen. You didn't want it to,
I
but you knew it
didn't,
was coming.
Yeah, the truce not truce thing. That whole meeting
Again,
up, you know,
like no surprise there.
right?
Like I was not surprised. Like when she was standing there saying, "We're gonna fight them together," like Circe. Like I was just like,
Yeah, okay, sure you
yeah,
were.
nah,
Yeah,
nah.
nobody believed it.
Fuck
and
you.
I don't.
They did.
You really think they did?
Come on. John's not naive enough to believe it. Daenerys don't know her for shit.
She knows
Tyrion,
enough.
Tyrion. If he believes her, he's a dumbass.
I don't think he believes her. I don't know, man. It doesn't seem logical that anybody would. There's no scenario in which she's trustworthy.
Unless they're just banking on the fact that
She's that scared.
scared of the thing. I mean, that's probably one of twice maybe in the whole entire series that she's looked frightened.
Right.
Was that thing coming at her face? I mean, that was a cool scene. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's start at the beginning here and go through this.
Well, since we just started at the end.
Well, I mean, we just briefly touched
No,
on a
I'm
couple
just kidding.
things
Go
that,
ahead. Yeah.
that happened in the
You're supposed to be
episode.
involved. Whatever.
The Unsullied marched back to King's Landing. You know, there was no consequence for the food being taken from them.
Well, they had to
You know,
leave. They
just
left.
Literally just left. That's it. When did Grey Worm become the leader of the Unsullied? Was that on screen? Did
Yes.
that happen? When? Was that in season 2 or 3?
Season 2 or 3. Whenever she took over the Unsullied, like the
So
the
why
scene,
him? Was there a
because he was
reason?
the strongest and the fastest. He was the best warrior. out of
Really?
all of them. Yeah.
He doesn't even.
Doesn't seem like it, but that's why. That's
I was
that's
just
why.
curious, I
Like
forgot.
when he stepped up in that scene, when he stepped up, like everybody was kind of like, really, and like all the other Unsullied soldiers around him were like, yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
the dude right there.
Okay.
You don't fuck with Grey Worm. You know, he's the best fighter out of every one of the Unsullied. So it is what it is.
I liked Bronn, his thoughts on being cockless and what is worth fighting for in the world.
Oh God, how, dude? I've heard war in general broken down to just a giant dick waving contest.
Yeah.
How all the swords and shields and guns and bullets are all just shaped like dicks. It's just, airplanes are all just flying dicks. It's just a giant dick waving contest.
Right.
George Carlin,
Yeah, I can see that.
for sure.
But he's just like, well, you know, if you're cockless, why fight? So he's just got it. He's
It's like gold.
misinformed. They
He's
have
like,
cock.
been around soldiers. See what they spend their money on.
Yeah.
Family. No, without the cock, you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like, fair enough. You know, that was
Maybe it is
the
just about
equivalent
cock.
of it.
Yeah, that was a good little exchange.
Right.
I love sometimes in this show when it's about to be some shit hitting the fan,
And you
and
see
people take
people,
lighthearted moments. Like there's one with Devos where he's talking to Tormund, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go take a long walk and so I can get far away from camp, so nobody hears me shitting my guts out right before we have this fight. You know, the battle of the bastards."
Nice.
So like I like those lighthearted moments between the characters when it's fucking we could die in the next fucking 30
Well,
seconds.
as
Right.
the Dothraki show up next, why is sorry to digress or to tangent here, but why is Jamie named Jamie and not something like Tyrion?
Weird.
You
I
know
don't
what I
know.
mean? Why wouldn't he be the one named after the father or close to the father's name? Why Jamie? Doesn't that
Maybe
seem a
the
bit
mother.
off?
Had something to do with the names.
Okay. But then to give the dwarf the name similar to yours,
Tywin.
Tyrion. You know, it's close enough.
Maybe overcompensating for him not being his.
I mean, I don't think we're getting that twist. Do you think we're getting that
You
twist
really don't think
still?
so?
Not anymore.
No, I don't think so either. Not with
Because
the
we
dragon
have
being
the
dead.
third dragon rider now.
Right.
The third dragon rider
It's
is
Bran.
It's Bran. He's flying now. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Okay, so Tyrion.
The more plausible it becomes, the less and less I think it's going to come to
exactly,
fruition.
it's craziness that it's all working and it's not.
But
gonna
everything
happen.
else like that, we not to say that we came up with it.
I mean,
but
I
the
talked
whole,
myself out of Ice Dragons the week before Ice Dragons, so I'm just saying. Maybe I shouldn't rule
all
out
because
something
of an argument about the semantics of the word magic. I mean, seriously.
I stand
Unbelievable.
by the fact that we had to have that discussion to try to figure something out.
And I wasn't I wasn't like
think we've
shooting
ever
down the
come
fact
to
that they
anything
had
either.
different levels of magic. I wasn't
Right.
saying that you were wrong. In
Right.
fact, I was just saying that they use the word magic to encompass
blanket
all of it.
statement it,
Because
yeah.
you even said to yourself, well, Daenerys, I've never thought of her as magical. I've never thought of this, or John as magical. I've never thought of that. But yeah,
It's technically
it's all
yeah.
kind of the same shit. Yeah. So that was basically what I was getting at.
Yeah.
But yes, there's totally different kinds and different.
And in order
magic.
to discuss it at that length, you sort of need to know that kind of, like what the ability. That was
same
where it
shit
went.
like
They've
that.
seen it. You watch
Yes.
the old episodes. We
Right,
discussed
shit
it.
like that will reading shit like
Oh,
that
I
will
haven't
give you
done that.
further
Okay,
insight
excellent.
onto things like that. I think.
Tyrion telling Theon why people would want to live in the city, more work, better brothels. When Theon couldn't give
That
a
wasn't
shit.
Theon, was it?
Yeah.
That was John he was talking to.
No, Theon asked why people would want to live a million packed in the city like that. Like he's like,
Oh, okay, maybe he asked that, but John definitely asked him how many people were living there. That was John. That was who he was talking to.
so maybe then John said that, and then Theon goes, "Why would you want to live there, packed in that so tight, that many people in that small of an area?" And that was where he's like mentions one of the reasons, and it's brothel. That's no good for Theon. He doesn't do anything for it.
Right.
So more work maybe, but
Right.
the Hound checking to make sure the White is alive. I'm glad they did that scene because it just made the later one more tense. Because it was like, fuck, did it die?
That's what I was thinking too. It was like, oh shit, now this thing's
That's
just
why
going to be
they
a
paused,
dead body
for
in a
sure.
box, and they're all going to be like, fuck you guys,
Yeah.
we're out. Like, that's what I was
scary
thinking.
skeleton.
Right, and then he kicked it over, and that motherfucker come running out of there like a bat out of hell. It was great.
So Cersei's list at the moment is Dany, Tyrion, then Jon Snow in that
Well,
order.
another thing I was thinking of, sorry to go back, is the Night King, like this shit is running through my mind while he's staring down the box trying to get it to come out or whatever, did the Night King turn them off to prevent them from, combining forces? Like, is he that smart? Like, would he be able to, like, deactivate that soldier so it's just a dead skeleton in a box and they look like fucking weirdos who just dragged a dead body halfway across the world? Halfway across the world. Let's get into that, too, real quick. You see that fucking map that I
on.
showed you? Unbelievable, dude. This is just the tiniest part of the world, man.
Yeah.
I mean, super tiny. Like, there's continents all
Yeah.
the way around it. It's insane. I did not know the world was that big.
Interesting. I
Like,
mean, wouldn't that be a fun ending? Wouldn't that be a fun, like, mind fuck?
What?
If they opened the world up super big right at the end?
Yeah.
Like, to show you what else is going on, and it's like regular civilization or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
not that they're going to go, it was Earth all
I mean,
along,
like, that's what I mean. Like,
but-
does the White Walkers, if they're taking over the whole world, they got a lot of work to do, man. I mean,
maybe they're
but
not.
is it does that prophecy
We
and
will
those
get into the-
magical things just all take place in this one little part of the world?
Right.
It's crazy.
We will talk about what the White Walker's motivation might be.
Okay.
Or what the Night King motivation might be. Shit
You know,
like that.
I
have
saw
stuff
somebody.
written down here about that.
I saw a YouTube. I didn't watch it, but I saw a YouTube video that said Night King's motives explained. Blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, I'm not watching
That's
that.
clickbait stuff.
Of course it is.
Sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes it's garbage. Cersei's list is Dany, Tyrion, then Jon Snow in that order. I love Tyrion talking about the fighting pit here.
Cersei's list. Oh, of the Mountain Kill. This is Dany, Tyrion, and then Jon, and then whoever you want.
Right.
In that order. Okay. Do you think how many dudes you think the Mountain Kill before like the Dothraki and like everybody would kill him? The Mountain, like the
he's
Hound.
not going to die by somebody other than the Hound or Brienne.
No, I understand that, but like, just I'm going hypothetical here. Like, if
Okay.
he just,
how many
if
would
some
it
shit
take?
just went down and he went after Dany, like, how many
Okay.
Dothraki do you think he could get through? Like, do you think because
I'm
those dudes
going
ain't
to-
fucking bad fighters
I'm
either,
going
man.
to quote the great Ron Swanson and say all of the Dothraki.
Okay,
That's how many he would get through.
you think so?
I mean, he's superhuman, like
At this point,
super not human or
I
whatever.
mean, he seems to be deteriorating though.
He's turned blue, and then his eyes,
eyes are all
I
red,
bet you they're going to
bloodshot.
take the mask off.
And he's just gonna look
It's
even
gonna be
worse than he
gross.
did when
It's
they.
going to be
they
like
showed
what
it.
they. It's going to be like what they did with.
They kind of showed it.
It's going to be like what they did to poor Anakin in the later episodes of Star Wars when they took his mask off. It took
Darth
off Darth
Vader.
Vader's mask, and
Yeah.
he looked all fucked up. It's going to be something like that, where he's all.
They showed it in last season. He took his helmet off.
Right, but it's worse now. His
That's what I'm
eyes-
saying. It would be way worse.
His
yeah.
eyes are red now.
Like I'm thinking, like he's turning in, like he's decomposing.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
he's like he's not far off from a white.
Right.
Now, there's another thing that was really cool. Is as soon as he cut the thing in half, and like as soon as it was safe to go check it out, who was the first person
Oh
to get
yeah,
up
I
and go
know.
look?
He was like, Jamie, you need a hand?
Kyburn was like,
Yeah.
"What's going on here? Let me see how this happened." Like that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, he was super interested.
Yeah,
in that.
I love it. He's one of my favorite little quiet side characters.
Right.
I like Kyburn.
The fighting pit. When Tyrion was talking, is it the dragon pit? What was
The
it called?
Dragon Pit.
Okay, the dragon pit. Talking about the most dangerous place in the world back in the Balerion days. I still feel like we should see Balerion before the end of the series,
Why not?
right?
We see Balerion the Dread. That'd be pretty cool.
When it flying over when they're getting the Valyrian steel recipe.
Seeing like maybe he's like 2 or 3 times as big as Drogon.
Yeah,
Like,
Just
that would be incredible to
Blocking
see.
out the sky,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah,
Right.
I think we get that. That's a prediction for next season. We're gonna see.
So
Balerion.
now that the dragon is dead, he's a dead dragon essentially, right? Reanimated dragon.
Okay.
He wouldn't grow anymore.
No, I wouldn't think so.
He was so if Drogon gets as big as Balerion the Dread, he should have no problem with the little dragon.
But it's not gonna happen that quickly.
True.
But with how fucking slow, we need to just. We'll get to the Night King stuff because we have that whole thing. Remember where that guy? What the fuck?
The airplay just quit.
Yeah, just the airplay quit.
Whatever. I don't care. Just keep going. Yeah. Whatever.
Well, but if that stops,
Then you won't know.
no way to know.
Okay. So
Yeah, so I'm just gonna. Yeah, no, I know. I'm just gonna pause for a second.
I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, damn it, Jeremy.
Motherfuck. Okay, here's what I'm gonna have to do. Turn off my Bluetooth because it's something with my hearing aid because it keeps fucking. I hear it like it's changing some setting in there. So we were talking about
Balerion the Dread. versus the ice dragon. No,
I'm just trying to remember what.
the dragon pits.
Right. I'm excited to see. I want to see the dragon pits in action. Even if we don't see Balerion the Dread, I want to see something of that structure that we see that he walks up to intact.
Okay.
Maybe a dragon could be
So
fighting
like,
or whatever.
what about why? But that's not in Valyria. Like you said,
Correct.
you want to see. So like,
Oh, I
how
do.
much
I'm
do you
sa-
think we're gonna get? Like,
I'm
we didn't
s-
get barely anything like flashback wise from Bran. This season.
But we if we count the scenes that we saw, there were still a few, and like they didn't take long to show.
Like what?
Like the marriage thing, like the name reveal in this episode. Like those scenes didn't take but 4 seconds. You know what I mean? They weren't long scenes.
No, I
So
understand
we
that.
could get brief glimpses of things for whatever reason. I'm not saying we have a reason. I don't have a logical reason to come back to that, but I want to see it. I'm interested because of how destroyed it is. I mean, super into that stuff and what it was.
A wise man once said, "You should never believe something simply because you want to believe it."
Well, I don't believe it. I don't believe we're going to. I want to
want
see
to
it
see it.
though. That's all.
It's
I
almost
do
along
want
the
to see
same
it.
lines.
That'd
You
be
believe
sweet.
you're going to see it. Though.
No, I hope I see it. That'd be sick. I liked the
Yeah,
Tyrion
no,
and
like the
Pod
dragon pits.
reunion.
I think you're more likely to see old Valyria, the
Right.
Doom of old Valyria, or
and
like
Balerion fly over, even if
Valyrian
just
Dread would be cool.
even if
Well,
just
I don't know if
the
Valyrian, like
shadow.
Valyrian was in the Seven Kingdoms. He was the dragon that conquered the Seven Kingdoms.
Right.
So
But it's probably like three
so
wing flaps.
like
and
maybe
he's
like
at the
Aegon,
wall.
like maybe he like Bran's like checking like Bran, like going back and looking at like John's like good blood, like the good, like the people that were okay in his bloodline, like the people that weren't fucking crazy, like Aegon. Like I don't think Aegon the Conqueror wasn't.
But Aerys, right? That was the Mad,
Mad
King.
King.
I don't think he was crazy either.
You think it had something to do with Bran?
I'm
or the Mad
positive
King?
of that.
Positive.
I'm positive of that.
Why are you positive of that?
Because he's going to try to because he realized that he can affect things when he talked to his dad briefly and got his attention. And what's his name? The Three-Eyed Raven at the time told him, okay, you can't change things. The ink is dry. But he figured out he could. And that's all part of the causal web is him going back and doing the thing with Hodor. Like that was always going to happen. It is whatever happened, but he's affecting it in the present.
Right, we're getting to see his effect on it,
But
even
it
though it
always
always
did
happened. Like
affect
yes,
it.
I know.
But he can
doesn't
do things.
Yeah, but he can. But
So
he
he's
doesn't
gonna-
understand that he can't change it. He thinks he's going to go back and change it, but he doesn't understand that it's going to happen that way every time.
But he's going for a certain thing when he's trying to change it. So it just doesn't end up the end result the way he wanted it to. But his intent is to change it. It just ends up the way that it was. Yeah, I mean,
the way that it always is.
yeah, it's
right.
but he's supposed to do that. Whatever he does, he's supposed to do in theory.
Right.
It's not like he's going against the plan because he has that ability to slot himself in. So it's not changing anything that always happened. In that sense. It's crazy to think about
God,
like
it
that.
makes your mind bend in half.
Right. But I think he's going to try to influence the Mad King to use, because didn't the Mad King have a dragon? Wasn't it
No.
Balerion? No? Oh, no, this is way before that.
Way after that,
No, I mean
dragons were already gone. by
that's
the
what I
time of
meant.
Mad
Dragons were
Yeah.
way before that. Okay, so
King. I'm pretty sure that Tywin said at one point that the dragons had been gone for 300 years.
okay, and they're in like year 260 or some shit like that. I heard.
Okay.
So it's not that far away. Talking about, I forgot. What were we talking about? I think we started talking about Bran back in time again.
Oh, about how he's affecting things, like
Yeah.
he is affecting things, but it's still always the way it happened.
Right, but he doesn't. He thinks that I
He
don't
can
think-
change it. He
I don't
thinks he can
think-
go and change it from
No.
what it is.
I don't think he thinks that. I think he doesn't think that, but he's going to try to test it anyway because the Three-Eyed Raven told him he can't. So I think he believes him, but he's gonna try anyway, and he thinks he
still end up doing
he is more powerful than the Three-Eyed Raven gave him credit for,
right.
by being a Green Seer and a
warg.
warg.
Okay.
Tyrion and Pod, their little reunion.
That's
the
cool.
Brienne and the Hound reunion. They're both like they were both trying to protect Arya, and they're both like proud divorced parents.
It was. That's kind of what it was like. She was like, I was only trying to protect her, and he's like, well, yeah, that's what I was doing.
Well, who's protecting her now if you're here? And
like,
she's like, only one needs protection is the ones that come across her.
Right.
And
He's like, it won't be me.
yeah,
And that's the look on his face when he says that. It's like
he's
that of a
yeah,
proud parent. Like,
Right.
oh, she did learn how to fucking,
right.
I doubted her, but she learned how to take care of
Right.
herself.
Like,
Like
they're
she went
both
all the way
happy
across the
she
narrow
made it.
sea and came back and like learned,
Yep. Let's see.
the Tyrion and Bronn reunion.
Right.
That was cool. They hadn't seen
Right.
each other in a while.
But he's like, why aren't you looking out for yourself? He's like, I brought Cersei 2 traitors, so I'm looking out for myself.
Yeah. He's like, when she gets done listening to whatever comes out of your pie hole, she can have you. Now, if that's not looking at her, all thanks to Bran of the fucking Blackwater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great line. Then Tyrion's like, yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you again. Yeah, you too.
Good stuff.
He and Pod go for a drink while the grown-ups talk.
Yeah.
Um,
We don't see them again after that.
right. Yeah. The Lannisters are behind bad ideas, and some Clegane cunt is there to help see it through. I thought that. I mean, that's
And
good
then here
shit.
around the corner comes Cersei in the mountain. Yeah.
Right. And I love that he approaches him right away. So he. Okay.
Did that not make you like swallow hard? Like when he walked up to him, you're just like,
What,
I mean, like
they were
there's
gonna
no,
go?
I didn't think that was just gonna happen right there,
No.
but like it was just like, oh
But it was
shit.
like it is finally there to the point where it could.
Okay, so
happen.
now let's break down that
we
conversation.
need to, because he
Okay.
said, "You know who's coming for you. You've always known."
So what do you think that means?
I think that means there's a reason that the Hound doesn't like fire. And it's not because his brother shoved his face in it. It's because he could always read fire. And he saw how his brother was going to die, and he told him such, and then he got his face shoved in the fucking fire for it. Because he probably told him, I saw it in the fire. Oh, what do you fucking see now, you little shit? You know what I mean? Shoving his face in the fire to burn him and teach him a lesson. He's
Wow, I like
always
that.
been able to read fire. You saw how effortlessly he
He
did it.
just did it.
He just avoided it after that because of what pain it ended up causing him. Not physically, but the pain that it caused because
Well,
of him reading it.
and his caused his own brother
What
to
he
push his
said,
fire in
yeah.
the face. So like maybe that's why. That's a good. I like that, man. Wow.
Because he's like, you know what's
Sometimes
coming
I'm
for you.
disappointed with myself that I like don't see things like that because that seems like it's right there.
Right. You know what's always you've always known what's coming for you or who's coming for you or whatever, meaning you've known how you're going to die for years. I already told you, motherfucker.
Right.
Like that's just how I'm reading it because I can't think of any other
No,
logic.
that's dude. Like that's brilliant because I couldn't think of any other way. Like, does he mean like a dragon? But yeah, he's always been able to read fire.
Right.
That's right. He just stood up there and just like, oh, I see thousands of them. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, you went from novice to
I can
read it.
just read the. Yeah, you're right. He's always been a green. Is that a green seer or is that what do you call that?
No, it's got to be something with the Lord of Light.
Okay.
A fire reader. I don't fucking know.
Wow, that's cool. Kissed by fire,
Right.
like a ginger.
Right. Exactly. Cersei's pissed she wasn't the last to show up.
Still one of my favorite conversations of the whole series of the
Right,
whole season.
those two.
Was those two.
Yeah. Cersei's pissed she wasn't the last to show up, and what a badass entrance Dany had. Fucking sick.
Oh, so that's what that comment was. And we've been here for some time.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
because she was
that
pissed that she wasn't the last one.
Because when they came up and Bronn escorted them, they said, they're here already. And it wasn't Cersei, it was everybody else.
Right.
And then Cersei walked up a minute or so after they got there
Yeah.
to prove her point that she's in charge.
And then Dany
everybody
showed
waits
up.
for her, and then Dany's not there. She's like, where's she at? And then she shows up a minute later on her dragon with a badass entrance.
But I love how Dany like didn't take the bait right there because like that could have went
Yeah, my
to
apologies.
bitch clawing eyes out really fast at that point because she could like we've been here for some time. Like Dany could be like, you know what, bitch, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it could have went south.
absolutely.
She's just like, my apologies.
Yeah.
Because my entrance was way cooler than
Yeah,
yours.
it was
bitch.
way better.
Right.
You got shown the fuck
Yeah.
up. She didn't flinch when the dragon flew, though. Cersei didn't.
Not really. No.
Jamie did. He got up and I mean, he saw that.
She didn't get out of the
obviously.
chair. Now she jumped and kind of looked, but she didn't get out of the chair.
She
Everybody
didn't
else stood up.
react
The
to
mountain
the-
stood
yeah.
up, got in front of her, stood up
Right.
forward. I don't think he was quick enough on the draw
No,
when it comes to the white.
no.
I mean, like if that thing didn't have chains on,
Right.
she was meat.
Euron starts fucking with Theon. Cersei tells him to sit down or leave. I
Right.
thought that was pretty good. Now
Yeah,
that
but
was
then-
all part of the
Part
show.
of the show. Like that's
Which
why
was
I liked
interesting.
that until I learned that it was part of the show. Then I was like, it wasn't that
No,
cool.
I like it better now that it's part of the show that they perpetrated that fucking bullshit in front
So
of
they're
everybody
working.
at that
They're
moment.
working behind Jamie's back
Yeah.
too. He learns some of that later and doesn't like it.
Tyrion's speech leading to showing the white, and then Qyburn perked up when the hound cut it in half and it kept moving. He was just like, "Ooh,
Right. What's this? And then he picks up the hand and his fingers are moving.
Jamie." Just offers it to him. Like, "Do you need one?" Or
I like the sales pitch that it becomes at this point. Like Devils jumps up with the prop with the torch.
right.
And
Oh,
John's
you
just
can,
like
you can burn it
John's
by
just like,
fire.
burn it with fire. Or dragon glass. It was just like
best.
it was like a sales pitch. It was great.
We need to make that
Right.
a thing. That needs
Right.
to be a video, a done like a bad sales pitch infomercial about how to kill whites.
I mean, that's basically what
We
this
need
was.
to do that. I want to make that
was great.
happen. He tells John stands up and says there's only one war that matters, the Great War, and it's here.
You know what it reminded me of? Have you ever seen the movie? This is probably a stupid question, but have you ever seen the movie Starship Troopers? What's his
feel like
name
I've
is in
seen
it?
some of
Doogie Howser's. I can never think of that dude's name, like his real name.
NPH, Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris is in that movie.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers, and he becomes like a scientist.
Okay.
And he does like an infomercial on how to kill the aliens, and it's just like that. He's like, you can shoot them with the gun, or you can blow them up, boom, it's like it's just like that.
Okay.
And so that's like what I thought of when that scene came on, when he just like holds his hand out, he's like, you can burn them.
Right. No, it makes sense.
It was
That's a
great.
great. Yeah. Euron asks if the whites can swim because if not, I'm going home.
I mean, he sold that shit too.
Right. And
I liked, but
he
see,
can't
I don't
be
know
killed
why
there.
that I liked that reaction being
It
a
seemed
genuine
honest.
reaction.
Yeah.
Like not
Yeah.
being part of the show. Like I said, you liked it more because it's part of the show. I liked it less because I liked him like being like,
Yeah. No, that actually did scare me. I'm out.
yeah, I'm out. Yeah.
Well, but-
all
but-
his Seven Kingdom shit,
Do you
like
think
you guys are good.
Cersei knew that was coming? I don't think she knew that it was going to be that to have that be part of it necessarily. I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't think she believed it. So she's going to go, oh, when the thing comes out, act like it scared you and leave.
Because he just said proof. They didn't know what they would be
Right.
bringing.
Right. So Cersei says she accepts the truce, and she asks Ned Stark's son not to take up arms against her because he'll stand by his word. And he's like, yeah, you're not my queen. Cersei no likey. She did not.
Well, of
enjoy
course
that at
not,
all.
because she now is like, oh, these motherfuckers have already ganged up against me. It's like this meeting is pointless because you guys are already on
You've
the same
already
team.
decided
This is
it's-
not a
yeah.
neutral thing. You've already. So I get where she's coming from, being so angry
Cersei
about it.
feeling like there's no negotiating power. And
Right.
She has none. She's out. Like, she's got to be out at this point. I mean, like, I know she's going to plot some shit while they're doing important stuff, but I don't know that it amounts to anything.
I get Tyrion being kind of pissed about that.
But what?
That
Oh, him
him
saying
bending the
that,
knee, basically, like in like
shoving it in
I
her
didn't fucking
face.
know this.
Yeah.
Like I'm your hand and you didn't tell me this. Like
Right.
this is a piece of information I should have known before this meeting.
Right. Yeah, because
Seems like a
then
relevant
Cersei
piece
made
of
it seem
information.
like he knew that and didn't mention it
Right.
intentionally. So Brienne does the fuck
And
loyalty speech.
but he did say that shit basically local. No, I seriously I didn't know that
Right.
they had already
Yeah.
come to this conclusion. Right.
Brienne says fuck loyalty to Jamie. This goes beyond houses and oaths and shit.
Yeah. She's
and
totally
I think
right.
she got through to him. I think.
Oh,
he-
for sure.
Yeah, he's absolutely going, whether Cersei wants him to or not.
He did.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, but we don't see where he goes. He could just walk around the corner and decide he loves her, and he comes.
Oh
back, you know
bullshit!
what I mean?
He's
It's-
going north.
yeah.
My only disappointment
But
with
he's
that.
gonna get killed. She's gonna send somebody into Euron probably to take over the army or some shit and slit Jamie's throat, or you know what I mean? Like try to.
No, he's not taking an army. He left off by himself. He's not taking the forces. He's going north by himself
Oh, okay,
on his own.
gotcha.
He didn't. He was stripped of all Lannister armor,
Right.
garb, like done. Like
Okay.
you think she would let him take the army with him?
Oh, I don't
Like,
know.
that
I
wasn't
just
gonna
figured he would
happen.
take it.
No.
Okay.
Why would she let him take the army? She just said we're not taking our armies.
Okay.
You know, she would definitely. So he's like, you know what? I'm going. I'm going to go help with this fight, whatever I can do.
Right.
You know, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic. Him getting to like Winterfell
Right.
and being like, I'm here to help, and they'll be like, ha.
Yeah. Okay. Kingslayer.
But he's going to get there and be like, she's not coming.
Yeah.
We're on our own.
Right.
She's going to fuck you because
Because
she's the fucking worst. Huh?
Because she fucks me.
Because she fucks.
So back to the Tyrion asks is if John.
I'm sorry,
could
I
learn
always
to
tend to
lie a
like
little
turn
bit.
so I can talk
That's
at you.
fine. Yeah, Tyrion asks if John could learn to lie a little bit. He's like, man, when more people lie, eventually words mean nothing, and he's got a point.
He's got a point.
Then he wants to, Tyrion wants to go talk to Cersei on his own, and the two idiot brothers say their goodbyes, Jaime
Yeah.
and Tyrion.
That was good.
So he goes
That
in there
death
to talk
march
to her.
with the
Yeah.
with the mountain, like
Yeah.
that was a good little. Again, we only have so much time here, and it seemed like that was like a long scene. Like he had to walk like 4 hallways. Like really, like can we
And
just
he's
do
got
2
the- and he's got the
hallways and
little
give us like
legs.
30 more seconds of something else?
Like it takes him
Like
longer
30
to
more
walk
seconds of
hallways.
dialogue would have been,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not gonna complain. I guess I have some complaints. The cartoon blue Darth Maul on the dragon. I mean, like it was already in the back of my head. Like I'm not sure if I like that much. And then you just put it over the top with the Darth Maul. Like the Night King is nothing to me anymore. Like he's
I'm
now
sorry.
blue Darth Maul. Like your big bad is you just shit all over the big bad now.
I mean, the big
Like,
bad
every time I
lost
see
is
him
a
now, it's
smoke
just gonna be like,
monster. I mean,
like, come on, man. Like, it's done. Blue Darth Maul. Like, how did you not see that? Like, how did they fuck that up? How did somebody be like, he kind of looks like Darth Maul, motherfucker? Like, now we have to change the whole design.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they missed it.
so Tyrion tells Cersei he just doesn't want to destroy their family, and she blames him for her 2 kids dying because he killed Tywin. And if he was there, Tywin wouldn't have let it. They wouldn't have dared to kill her kids.
Right.
Tyrion tells her to kill him then because he'll always be a threat, and she won't say the word. Why? Why won't she say the word for him?
Well, okay.
What do you think?
Here's
could
the only thing I
possibly
can think
reason?
of is she knows. She's a cruel bitch. I was gonna say she like knows somewhere deep in her mind that it's not his fault. That it's not really his fault. That she's projecting this blame onto him, and that it's not really his fault. Like somewhere deep down, she knows she hates him, but somewhere deep down she knows that it's not his fault. That
But
it was her
that's-
dad's and the shit that she got herself into and shit like that got her kids
But
killed.
what you're describing is empathy and
She doesn't
compassion,
have it.
and
See, that's why I prefaced that whole statement by saying she's a cold-hearted bitch. So I don't. That's probably not true.
Right.
I don't know, dude.
There has
Both
to
of
be
her
some
brothers,
play.
looked her right in the face this episode and said, "Do it."
I wonder if she just thinks that, like, I don't know. Maybe she just thinks that she'll have an in eventually in Dany's side.
Grey Worm's wearing a diaper. Anyway,
Okay. Anyway, so he swears he loves the
what did
kids.
you just say
What?
before you started talking again?
I don't know.
Okay, forget it. Go on.
He tells her he loved the kids and he's sorry, and they discuss why he supports Dany. And in doing so, he realizes she's pregnant.
Dude, but like, see, like that scene right there, he's just like, I love the kids. You know.
Yeah.
She knows.
That almost made me well up a little bit when he said that, because like you think about kids and it's
Yeah, well, I know, and dude, you saw, even though if it was only for a couple of scenes, and maybe not Joffrey, but for Marcella and Tommen, he definitely had affection for both of those kids.
right.
I mean, he smacked Joffrey around a couple of times, but Joffrey was a dick. The
Can I
other
see
two
your
weren't
phone?
such dicks.
I need to set up a second recorder in case this thing dies again. So Dany and Jon discuss the history of the dragon pit. And it took me forever to realize what they were picking up. Took me forever.
A
to
dragon
realize
skull.
that. I didn't realize that was a dragon skull. I didn't know it was a dragon jaw.
Yeah,
It
but
was
they've
the
said it
jawbone.
more than once.
That it was the size of a cat.
the size of dogs,
I know,
right?
but it didn't. I didn't click. I'm like, what is he fucking holding? Why
Right.
does it matter? And then I saw the teeth.
Yeah.
On the second watch, I'm like, oh shit.
It's
Okay,
a
that was one of the
skull.
dragon
Well, then
skulls.
even Tyrion said when they were walking up, like, all of this for animals no larger than dogs. But when Balerion the Dread was here, it must have been the most dangerous place on Earth.
Right.
Right. But they explained why they built the dragon pits. Because Jorah was like, dragons don't understand what's theirs and what's not. Livestock, children,
Oh right.
they don't know what's...
what to kill and what not
What?
to kill. Well, Danny was saying that their family isn't extraordinary without the dragons, which is an interesting point. That maybe they're not special like they thought they were when the dragons aren't around.
Well, I love the explanation. They basically explained what happened to the dragons. Like why the dragons
Because
died
they
off.
caged 'em?
Because they caged them. A dragon is not a slave.
Yeah.
They've said it.
Yeah.
You know, and when she locked those two dragons up, they weren't eating. They were gonna shrink probably into nothing,
Right.
basically, if she left them chained up down there. But Tyrion went down there and let the
Right. Took it
chains
off
off,
'em,
and then
yeah.
left the door open.
Right.
You know, and then when Drogon showed back up, they came back out, and
Right.
you know they've all gotten a lot bigger since because they've been free to
Right.
fly.
But they're still smaller than Drogon, the other two.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like Dragonstone as a place for them to live. They seem to be okay there, flying around. There's lots of space on the outside
Yeah.
for them to like land and just be there.
Right.
Doesn't look like a lot of farmland or people around. It's an island.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
What
like,
do they eat though?
I mean, I would think you would have like regular shipments of goats, like just brought in and
But
let
how
go.
many?
You bring
He's
a
huge, dude.
why don't you bring a flock of fucking goats in once a week?
Where do you get those from? He'll go through them all
Farmers.
in no time.
You have them shipped in. You have other shit shipped in too. I mentioned the
What do you
ocean.
mean shipped?
The ocean.
What do you mean
The
shipped in?
ocean.
Fly to them and eat them. Don't ship them. Don't waste time
But
shipping.
see, that's the problem. Is them going and flying and eating shit. I'm trying to keep them, you know,
But if
not
Danny's in
caged.
charge, it doesn't matter. She's not going to cage them just because they're going and
Not
eating.
caged. I'm just saying, like, just kept on the island.
Right.
And not, you know, if
Well,
they're
they'll
not-
be around
if there's no
her.
war going on.
Right.
You know, if it's peacetime. The ocean.
Yeah.
They can swim. Go get some fish.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
They
this
could probably just
and
roast it, and then the bunch will come up to the surface, and then they just skim
boil
the
the
top.
fucking water at the top. Right. There you go.
John points out that the witch might have been lying about her being barren.
Which is a-
Doy.
Seriously.
I mean, you fucking thought that for no reason at all. Well, Tyrion returns, Cersei follows, and she says they're going to fight alongside him, and she's acting all noble about choosing to help with no assurances. Fuck yourself, bitch.
Yeah, right.
Sansa's fucking with... Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that's all we get from there for now. Then we cut away to Winterfell.
Oh, we get the Jamie and Cersei.
We come
stuff.
back to it, yeah. Sansa's fucking with Littlefinger about Jon Snow bending the knee. I mean, she's clearly just messing with him. Like, we knew there was a ploy.
Right. But we didn't think she was in on it.
That is very true. Yeah.
We both said that she didn't know.
Yeah, in
but
terms
she totally
of what Arya
knew.
was doing. Yeah,
But she was totally in
knew.
on the whole thing.
I'm gonna blow your mind about all this too.
Go ahead, because
When it's
Jenna
all-
read some stuff to me earlier in the week too about them too, and how during certain parts, like Arya was reading that letter, she was like raising her voice. Like when they were arguing, she was like raising her voice using those acting skills that she learned from the fucking,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, we were
Lady
talking
Crane.
about that, yeah.
but like. Just so his spies, whoever his fucking spies were listening, because you know, remember him paying off that chick carrying a basket when Arya was watching him. Like he gave her some money, or a bag of gold, gave her something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's got spies everywhere. He's paying people to keep an eye on shit. So like Arya was making sure that he saw all that shit. Arya and Sansa were making sure that he saw everything.
Okay. You need to see this. This is about what you were saying. So, I wrote down the times here. Like I actually went and investigated this. Somebody mentioned that they thought maybe there was something to this. So 2:35. And we're watching the scene with Arya and Littlefinger, or like that whole thing. At 2:35, 3:08, and 3:27, you need to listen to what we hear.
The crows,
You hear the ravens.
the ravens calling,
Yes, it's Bran listening.
Bran listening in.
Yeah. So at 2:35 here in 5 seconds. There's one. 308
Yep.
and 327.
You know what else that happens?
When's that?
After her and Arya reunite in the crypt, and they walk out of the crypt to meet Bran, like just as they're walking up to Bran, you can hear the ravens.
Oh, nice.
Calling too. So like,
So that's how he traveled there?
all
No.
3 of those motherfuckers,
Yeah.
they got.
Yeah, that
They
was
got him
all a
back.
big. Yeah.
Now here's a good question too, when it comes to all of this. What's Bran's stake? As far as he's concerned, he's not really Bran
Why would
Stark
he care?
anymore.
Why would he care
He
enough
said,
to,
"I'm not.
to help
I'm
you? mean?
not him anymore. I'm not Bran anymore. Like I remember what it feels like to be Bran Stark, but I'm not that."
But that's what you're
anymore."
asking. Why
But,
would he care
So
enough
why
to
would he
plot
care to help? But I guess
to get rid of Littlefinger? To-
Okay.
To serve justice, because you know what? He's Ned Stark's son, whether he's the Three-Eyed Raven or not.
right.
And his honor, you would think, would lead him to.
I mean, like this is the motherfucker that set the whole thing in motion. Finally got what was coming to him.
Well, we're not
So-
quite there
okay.
yet, but yeah, she plays it like Arya would turn on her for betraying Jon, and then Baelish asks, he says he plays this game.
Love it.
What's the worst reason someone could possibly have for doing the things they do? Arya could want her dead. She came to Winterfell to kill her for marrying their enemies and betraying her father. The letter provides proof of her betrayals, and after she kills you, she becomes Lady of Winterfell. That's where it fell apart. She never wanted to be Lady of Winterfell.
Arya didn't.
Arya didn't. We know that.
No, but Littlefinger doesn't.
No, well, we know that. I mean, that's
We
where
know
it
that.
falls apart.
Well,
to
that's what
us.
we know.
Yeah.
Because Littlefinger doesn't know.
No.
He doesn't know Arya.
And the
like that.
the best part to me is that he never played out the scenario that happened.
No.
He's got so cocky. He never thought that was even a possibility that
No.
anybody would be smart enough to figure
And he
him out.
kept giving her all that advice to play out all possibilities in
Yeah,
your mind,
that's what I mean,
fight
and
all
he didn't
battles
do it.
everywhere in your mind. He fucked up and didn't follow his own advice.
Yep. After
Or
that,
otherwise, he wouldn't have been standing in that fucking room.
right.
He'd have been long gone if he'd have foreseen what was happening. But he thought he had them all wrapped up and played, but nope, they got him.
We go to Dragonstone, where Jorah tries to talk Dany out of traveling with Jon. I wonder why.
Yeah.
I don't want you guys on a boat together for
Friend zone.
yeah, Cologne.
The friend zone cologne.
Theon asks to speak with Jon, and he says, "You risked everything to tell the enemy the truth." Theon thinks Jon always takes the right step and makes the right decision. And Jon's like, "Look, I have regrets." He's like, "Not compared to me." Yeah, no, not compared to you.
No. This is the only part in the episode where I welled up.
Well, Theon thought he had to make a choice between Stark and Greyjoy, and he goes, "Look, he's a part of you, and for what I can forgive you for, I do."
But the way he words it though, because
no
when he
choice
said,
is necessary. You're a Stark and a Greyjoy.
yes, but when he was saying it, he said like when he even got mad at him and stepped up to him, like he was like, "Our father."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Talking
he was-
about Ned. He didn't
absolutely.
even hesitate to say that. Even after all the shit they've been through, he stepped up and said, "Our father was more of a father to you than yours ever was."
Right.
You know, he's a part of you. Like that was, dude, it made me, it's fucking choking me up right now a
Yeah.
little bit. But then when he says that, I forgive you. Like basically, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he now wants to repay the favor to save Yara.
Yeah.
For her trying to get
Save
him out,
him,
even
yeah.
though he didn't go. And it was just like, welcome back, Theon. You were a dick, but now you're not.
Yeah, I love how they brought that back into him. Right?
Come on,
They,
that deserves a high
Yeah.
five.
Well, then he like the
He
knee,
doesn't have one.
the
and now
knee to
he
the
has
nothing,
one.
and he just looks up at him like, yeah, not gonna work on me. But then the
Yeah.
nasty headbutt that just explodes the dude's nose. Like,
Well,
Jesus
yeah, he gave that
Christ.
speech to Yara's men, and they want to sail east and find an island to rape and pillage. And
Go
the
back
guy-
to their old ways.
The
Yeah.
guy spits in his face and tells him to run away, and they fight, and he tells him to stay down or I'll kill him. Knees him in the no dick repeatedly, and Theon kills him.
Did he kill
I
him?
just thought, what is dead may never die. Theon.
Was he
Yes.
dead though? Was dude dead?
Yeah,
you
I
think?
think the guy's dead.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because
And then he said, not for me, for Yara. And they all rod behind him, and they're in.
Right.
He stood up from. I saw when he killed that dude with the rock or whatever the fuck he hit him with at the end. It was like he was hitting him with something in his hand. I thought.
oh no, I,
I
thought
could
he
be
was just hitting him
wrong,
with his
but
fist.
it looked like there was something that he was
Theon,
smacking
like,
him with.
dude, like, there's been a couple like when Theon tried to cut dude's head off
Mhm.
way back, and he couldn't do it.
Right.
You know, he'd do it and then he kicked it off. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
it's almost that same thing. he wasn't. I think he was just punching that dude. You know, like a fucking pussy would
I'll have
punch
to,
him. You know
I'll
what I'm
have to
saying? Like,
watch
like
again.
you know, like
Yeah,
that. You know,
maybe.
like I could think he was
He was
just like
following
just
through like a
hammering through
motherfucker,
into
man.
the fucking side of that dude's head. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like that was a good redemption scene for Theon.
But there was somebody in the background going. They nodded after he did it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah, man. Where's that guy been?
Right.
Like, he's gonna end up in charge of their thing instead of Yara. Like, because he's gonna save her, she's gonna go, you saved me. You're
Okay.
you know what I mean?
That's obvious.
This is your redemption now,
Right.
and it's this is
So
your.
do you think he
rightful
turns
spot.
out to be one of the redemption stories that gets a happy ending?
Yes, I think so. For
I
the
think
most
so, too.
part.
Because he's been through some of the worst shit in the show.
I mean, I'd be okay with him just eating it, but he's got
no,
to save
I mean,
Yara.
like I'd be sad at this point for him now too. I can't say that I would have felt the same way back in the day, but like after he redeemed himself and saved Sansa,
Right.
You know, like they kind of bitch out on the boat again, but I guess I kind of get it. Post-traumatic stress syndrome, like they don't know
Right.
shit about that. It's a PTSD, like
Yeah.
That's what that shit was on the boat,
Yeah,
man.
he-
Like all that shit going down. Like he looked
saw
around for a
stuff
second
getting
and
cut
was
off
like,
and-
"Oh no,
No more stuff. I want to be able to talk
Yeah.
at least. We go to Winterfell, and Sansa calls for Arya to be brought into the Great Hall. Honor demands that she defend her family in the north, and Baelish smirks. And then, accused of murder and treason, how do you answer, Lord Baelish? And do you see his eyes flutter? Like
Yeah, he's like,
they're like
what?
flipped in his
well,
head.
that's because he was like sitting there looking at Arya like,
Like,
yeah,
come
bitch,
on.
you're going down now.
Yeah, he's just like,
what? She just said my name.
wait,
What?
That never occurred to me.
No. This.
So, yeah, he didn't play out this scenario. He thinks he can talk his way out of it because he doesn't think of Bran. None of you were there to see it, but the thing he failed to remember, Bran got the season 1 DVD for Christmas. He just watched that episode where it ended
yeah.
with Baelish putting his knife to his throat. He thinks he can explain everything, and she tells him about how she assumed the worst about his reasons for turning her against her sister. That's what he did to her mom and aunt. Becomes a little bitch crying about how he loved her mom and now her more than anyone. And then
Dude on his knees crying.
now she didn't even give the "you're dead" command, and Arya slit his throat. She didn't even. Sansa didn't decree you're sentenced to death. She didn't say that.
No, she
Arya
looked at
just
Arya-
went up and.
She looked over at Arya and nodded.
I mean, I get it, they probably discussed it in
Like that
advance,
was she.
but it
that
felt
was
like
the
a
goal.
little against protocol.
No, maybe a little bit against protocol, but I think everybody in the room was okay with it.
No, it's cool. I get it,
but like she gave it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the. She gave the same nod that Cersei gives to the Mountain later on, except the Mountain doesn't follow through.
Right.
But she gives Arya that she turns and looks at her and nods, and then she looks back at him and she says, "I thank you, Lord Baelish, for all you've taught me, all your lessons.
Yeah.
I will never forget them for the rest of my life."
Right.
And then Arya, I love the no hesitation. Like there was no like her pulling,
Well,
like
he was on her
staring down.
list, right?
No,
He wasn't?
he was never on her list.
Really? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was. That's
I don't
fine.
think she knew anything about him until Bran told them.
Okay, that's fine.
You know,
I'm cool
when
with
she
that,
walks
too.
up, cut his throat. That motherfucker died,
Still talking.
still talking. If you watch the subtitles, you can see him. He's just like, he's bleeding out his neck. Still, you're still trying to talk your way out of it.
Yeah.
Still, you're bleeding to death, and you're still talking. Just shut up, man.
Yeah.
It's over with. Die. And he falls on the ground. You see the pool of blood come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Good death of a good villain.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's more to him later that I think we need to discuss.
Okay.
In
Like
King's,
consequences of things that he's done, or what?
Yes, in
Okay,
King's
cool.
Landing, Cersei isn't playing along with the war plan. She admits the monsters are real that they heard about growing up. But while they fight, we'll take back our land. Like, you're a fucking idiot. You're not getting what's happening here. And he says, whoever wins the North will come for us.
I mean, he explains exactly what's happening. He's like, "Look, you do understand somebody's going to win that fight, right?"
And then they're coming for us either way. Cersei focuses on the third missing dragon, and she seems to think the Iron Bank is the trick up her sleeve. You know, it's just
Okay,
not.
man. Like she said 100,000.
Wait,
Daenerys said, "I saw them, 100,000 dead men."
Yeah.
You said 20,000 troops.
they're just going to end up on the other side.
They're just going to end up as
Right.
meat for the army of the dead.
So she points out that Euron didn't walk away. He's on his way to Essos to get the Golden Company. And she accuses Jaime of treason for heading north, and he tells her to kill him the same way that Tyrion did.
They both throw
And
it
they
in
both
her face.
demanded, kill me.
Do it. Give the order then.
But she gives the order, sort of.
See, I don't understand that part. So that was only half the order?
Yeah.
That was the pull your sword out of its sheath order?
Yeah, like
That wasn't the cut him
Go
down?
ahead.
Or was it the mountain like, you sure about this,
yeah,
bitch?
that's
Like,
basically it. You sure?
right. And then she said, I don't believe you. But then she kind of like chased after him a little bit. She like kind of
because she
ran.
loves him. That's why
Absolutely.
she doesn't want to do that. She's so alone now. I'm not trying to feel bad for her.
No, but she
But
is.
look at her point. When she was standing there, the only one she has is Qyburn in the mountain.
Mountain.
And he's
And-
nothing, and Qyburn is nothing.
Like, not Qyburn is not a sentimental person.
Right.
He's not the type to like.
He's not loving.
He's
and-
pure. He's pure science. This dude.
Mhm.
And magic or whatever supernatural. This dude wants to understand that shit. At regard, like
Yeah, it
with
doesn't-
all
nothing
disregard
else
to
matters.
life, or yeah,
So Jamie rides away, and snow starts falling in Winterfell.
in the
I mean, in
in
King's,
King's
Landing.
Landing.
Yeah.
the like I said, the nice subtle theme song they played behind it was cool, but it made
Yeah.
it feel super Christmassy. Like I was getting like
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the feeling of
Like Home
Like,
Alone or something.
or what's the old one with the Scrooge? What do they call it? What's the name of that? Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Even the like the music playing, you could have put the you could have put like the sleigh bells behind the music, and it would have fit. Like I don't know, it was a little Christmassy for me. It was okay.
Right.
I get the significance of the snow falling on thing, but I get this is I don't know. The more and more I talking myself through it, the more and more I guess I did like it. But the music was like, here's the calm before the storm. Here's some pretty
Yeah.
snowfall. And things like you have no idea what this means.
Right. Yeah. We go to Winterfell, and Bran and Sam join each other, and Sam didn't think he'd remember him, and he's like, "I remember everything." Well, fuck, dude.
Right.
Okay, that's fun.
Well, see, but then he says, "I remember everything," but then
Why
That's
did you
the
come
fuck-
here? Why did you come here? He asks. Right after that.
and then he says, "Well, John's a bastard." Well, no, he's not because there's this information in
Yeah,
his
but
book.
he never went and. But that was my favorite thing because of this.
But you know
Remember-
everything, but you
remember-
don't know everything until you go and look at it.
But remember, but he said I remember everything. Everything he's ever done, he does remember. That's what he was saying there. That's different than saying I know everything. But he did then go, why are you coming here? But then, okay, so what
No,
you
saying
just
I
said,
remember saying I remember everything.
he
I
said,
was-
I didn't think you'd remember me. And he goes, I remember everything. Like,
So everything that just happened to him, I thought
Everything
I
that
thought
he's
when he
seen.
said that was everything.
well, right, that's how it felt. And then it was shot down by, why didn't you come here, by the way?
Right. And everything that has happened and everything that is happening now or something like
Fuck,
that.
I had
He
something
said.
I wanted to talk about that was
Sorry, did I
really
shit on it?
good. No, it was really good there, and I can't remember what it is now. He said he remembers everything, but he says I became the three-eyed raven. He's like, yeah, I don't know what that means.
Like he gets that response every time he says
Yeah.
that to somebody. I mean, I don't know. Like the three-eyed raven thing is another weird thing to me. Like, why is that the title?
Because it's a three-eyed raven.
I understand that's why Bran would call it that, but like, wouldn't the guy be like, "No, that's not what you call me. You call me this."
His name was Bryden,
Wouldn't
or
he say that?
Brynden, or something like that. It was in the thing at some point. That's people keep mentioning it. Oh, the thing I wanted
Oh,
to
I
talk
looked up-
about.
I looked
Stop.
up
Wait,
Bryden.
just let's
Right,
say
sorry,
before I
right.
forget it again. That when Bran said that to him in a minute, we're going to talk about it. But when he said, this is the thing," and then Sam goes, "Actually, I read the books."
Right.
That's what it felt like to me. It felt like the show watchers versus the book watcher, or the book readers, where they were like, "Actually, in the book." You know, like somebody watching the show guesses something, and they're just like, no, it's this, because I've read the book, seriously. So, yeah, he says, John needs to know the truth. He's the son of Rhaegar and Lyanna. His last name is Sand, not Snow. And then he's like, no, he's not a bastard. And then he goes and flashes back to, we finally get to see Rhaegar, and he looks just like fucking Viserys.
Viserys, yeah.
And we find out that Robert's rebellion was built on a lie. Littlefinger. Had to be.
It was him all along,
If
man.
he starts the rumor,
So how did he
that
not know?
Rhaegar-
So how did he miss who John was then?
maybe he didn't. But why would he tell anybody? He's not the type to just blurt out information.
No, I understand that, but like,
Maybe he knew. But why would he tell that? That's another error that he has to deal with. he's probably loving the fact that if he knows, he's probably loving the fact that he knows and nobody else knows.
Relishing in it. Yeah, he would
Yeah.
relish in something like that.
Right.
They never gave any indication that he knew that information.
No, but he did.
That was a
think
secret.
that-
I think that was a secret that only.
How great would it be if he was the one who fucking started that rumor, though? That Rhaegar and Lyanna, that he kidnapped her rather than.
You know what?
eloped.
You might be right because.
That starts Robert's Rebellion.
Sansa and Littlefinger were in the crypt
Mhm.
a few seasons back, right before she was getting ready to marry Ramsay.
Okay.
And she says, how many thousands had to die because Rhaegar chose your aunt?
Right.
And she says, then yeah, he kidnapped her and raped her. Like Littlefinger's looking at her like, yeah, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah.
You know, he does got this look on his face like he knew something she
Right.
didn't. So maybe he did know.
But it benefits
But
him in no
Bran
way. to
did
tell
say that he was the only one. Oh, Littlefinger was dead at that point, wasn't he?
Yes.
Okay. So then he would be the only one that would have known that, saying that.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it's undetermined
It's
whether Littlefinger.
conceivable that he
it's
started
conceivable-
everything in
It's
this show.
conceivable that it's not more than conceivable. It's probable.
Well, he created everything post dragons, like all of the conflict post dragons. He could have potentially created. No,
He
post
played
Mad King.
He played on situations.
Or
no,
he
even during the
would
Mad
have got
King.
the Mad King
Right.
usurped essentially.
Right.
Then
So he was playing both sides the whole time. So he was playing all the sides, not both sides,
Right.
more than one,
Yes.
more than two sides. He was
he's
playing,
watching every possible scenario play
right?
out.
Except for that one.
Except for that one. John knocks on Dany's door. She lets him in. Now, people were talking about why Tyrion was waiting outside.
Okay, so
And
why do you think he was?
I think that it was because I don't think it was any sinister reason, like he's going to turn on him or any bullshit like that. I think it's
No, I don't think that.
people
that
were
thought didn't cross my
speculating
mind.
that, but I think
No, I think the thought crossed my mind because he doesn't know if it's a good idea of what they're doing,
only because
political
it will-
reasons and things like
right.
that.
Only because when they go to the north, if he's fucking her, then they're going to wonder why he bent the knee. I think that's why
That's
he's
part of
worried
the, yeah,
about how
the
it'll
political reasons,
Yeah.
all the ramifications of
Right.
what they're doing. Because it's not. He's being left out of the loop as the hand of the queen.
Right.
First of all,
Okay, so he could just be annoyed by that.
well, he's not that small of a person, figuratively.
Took me forever to
dragon
realize
skull.
that. I didn't realize that was a dragon skull. I didn't know it was a dragon jaw.
Yeah,
It
but
was the
they've said
jawbone.
it more than once.
That it was the size of a cat.
the size of dogs.
I
right.
know, but it didn't. I didn't click. I'm like, what is he fucking holding? Why
Right.
does it matter? And then I saw the teeth.
Yeah.
On the second watch, I'm like, oh shit. Okay,
It's a
that was one of the
skull.
dragon
Well,
skulls.
even Tyrion said when they were walking up, like, all of this for animals no larger than dogs. But when Balerion the Dread was here, it must have been the most dangerous place on Earth.
Right.
Right. But they explained why they built the dragon pits. Because Jorah was like, dragons don't understand what's theirs and what's not. Livestock, children,
Oh right.
they don't know what's...
What to kill and what not
What?
to kill. Well, Danny was saying that their family isn't extraordinary without the dragons, which is an interesting point. That maybe they're not special like they thought they were when the dragons aren't around.
Well, I love the explanation. They basically explained what happened to the dragons. Like why the dragons
Because
died
they
off.
caged 'em?
Because they caged them. A dragon is not a slave.
Yeah.
They've said it.
Yeah.
You know, and when she locked those two dragons up, they weren't eating. They were going to shrink probably into nothing,
Right.
basically, if she left them chained up down there. But Tyrion went down there and let the
Right. Took it
chains off
them.
and then left the door open.
Right.
You know, and then when Drogon showed back up, they came back out. And,
Right.
you know, they've all gotten a lot bigger since because they've been free to
Right.
fly.
But they're still smaller than Drogon, the other two.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I like Dragonstone as a place for them to live. We seem to be okay there, flying around. There's lots of space on the outside
Yeah.
for them to, like, land and just be there.
Right.
Doesn't look like a lot of farmland or people around. It's an island.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
What
like,
do they eat though?
I would think you would have, like, regular shipments of goats, like, just brought in and
But
let
how
go.
many?
You bring
He's huge, dude.
Why don't you bring a flock of fucking goats in once a week?
Where do you get those from? He'll go through them all
Farm.
in no time.
You have them shipped in. You have other shit shipped in too. I mentioned the
What do you
ocean.
mean shipped?
The ocean.
What do you mean
The
shipped
ocean.
in? Fly to them and eat them. Don't ship them. Don't waste time
But
shipping.
see, that's the problem. Is them going and flying and eating shit. I'm trying to keep them,
But if
not
Danny's in
caged.
charge, it doesn't matter. She's not going to cage them just because they're going and
Not
eating.
caged. I'm just saying, like, just kept on the island.
Right.
And not, if
Well,
they're
they'll
not,
be around
if there's
her.
no war going on.
Right.
If it's peacetime. The ocean.
Yeah.
They can swim. Go get some fish.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
They
there's
could probably just
and
roast it, and then a bunch will come up to the surface, and they just skim
boil the
top.
fucking water at the top. Right. There you go.
John points out that the witch might have been lying about her being barren.
Which is-
Doy.
Seriously.
I mean, you fucking thought that for no reason at all. Why the fuck is that not recording?
Oh my God, Joel.
I mean, are you fucking kidding me? This is so irritating.
Must be full.
How the fuck can it be full? There's nothing on here. God damn it, dude. I'm so sick of this not having two phones thing. I know that sounds like a ridiculous thing
Why?
to say,
What?
but
What happened to your second phone? So he broke theirs, and you had to give it up, or what?
yeah, I gave it to Lena and then it stopped fucking working altogether. Okay, so...
Did you ever sell the one that I had? The old one?
Yeah, I gave that money to Jenna a long time ago.
I don't remember if you said you'd sold it or not.
Okay, let's see, where is that fucking one where we were... Try to remember what we were talking about, man, I'm sorry.
We were talking about the dragons living on Dragonstone and eating and having shipments of goats brought in.
I hate trying to remember right when we,
You know what I mean?
when we come back and we're ready to go again.
Well, and then when you do that, when you say, "Oh shit, the fuck's going on?" I look up and poof. You know what I mean? It's gone.
What?
What we were talking about, like poof. It's
Right.
it's. But we were talking about the dragons and like them living in Westeros and
Come on. where
Hunting.
is the fucking... So there's nothing there, and it's... I dumped everything off my phone, so this stuff can all be deleted.
I mean, you almost need to like use your iPad
For what?
for recording. Oh, it doesn't have a good video, does
It's
it?
garbage, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I was just saying, or like you need like, dude, my phone.
You
just use my-
audio.
Oh,
So
it's still recording it.
Yes.
But you could use my phone to record the video if you want. I
I don't
mean,
know that necessarily helps. Oh, you have the 7 Plus as well. That's right.
I do. And I don't have anywhere near that much.
We're good. I just deleted 500.
I have 73 gigabytes available.
Right.
That's plenty, right?
Yes, it is. Okay, that's going again.
So, like, the Jay and Jack aren't going to care about the fucking video, right?
Probably not.
They
I
probably
don't
just
think
want
it
the
will
audio.
necessarily matter. No. Okay, so just to wrap up the thing we were talking about there.
The dragon's eating fish, and then we were about to move on to a different subject.
Okay.
I said they could dive into the ocean, and then you were about to move on to something else.
Well, Tyrion returns, Cersei follows, and she says they're going to fight alongside him, and she's acting all noble about choosing to help with no assurances. Fuck yourself, bitch.
yeah, right.
Sansa's fucking with... Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that's all we get from there for now. Then we cut away
Well,
to Winterfell.
Oh, we get the Jamie and Cersei
We come
stuff.
back to it, yeah. Sansa's fucking with Littlefinger about Jon Snow bending the knee. I mean, she's clearly messing with him. Like, we knew there was a ploy.
Right. But we didn't think she was in on it.
That is very true, yeah.
We both said that she didn't know.
Yeah, in
but
terms
she totally
of what Arya
knew.
was doing. Yeah,
But she was totally in
knew.
on the whole thing.
I'm going to blow your mind about all this, too.
Go ahead, because
When it's
Jenna
all-
read some stuff to me earlier in the week too about them too, and how during certain parts, like Arya was reading that letter,
Mm-hmm.
she was like raising her voice. Like when they were arguing, she was like raising her voice, using those acting skills that she learned from the fucking,
Yeah.
well,
Well, we were talking
Crane.
about that, yeah.
but like, just so his spies, whoever his fucking spies were listening, because remember him paying off that chick carrying the basket when Arya was watching him.
Uh-huh.
Like he gave her some money, or a bag of gold gave her something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's got spies everywhere. He's paying people to keep an eye on shit. So like Arya was making sure that he saw all of that shit. Arya and Sansa were making sure that he saw everything.
Okay. You need to see this. This is about what you were saying. So,
Okay.
I wrote down the times here. Like, I actually went and investigated this. Somebody mentioned that they thought maybe there was something to this. So 2:35. We're watching the scene with Arya and Littlefinger, or like that whole thing. At 2:35, 3:08, and 3:27, you need to listen to what we hear.
The crows.
You hear the ravens.
The ravens cawing.
Yes, it's Bran listening.
Bran listening in.
Yeah. So at 2:35 here in 5 seconds.
Yep.
There's one. 3:08
Yep.
and 3:27.
You know what else that happens?
When's that?
After her and Arya reunite in the crypt, and they walk out of the crypt to meet Bran, like just as they're walking up to Bran, you can hear the ravens.
Oh, nice.
Cawing too. So like,
So that's how he traveled there? No.
all three of those motherfuckers,
Yeah.
they got
Yeah,
they got
all
him back.
big. Yeah.
Now here's a good question too, when it comes to all of this, what's Bran's stake? As far as he's concerned, he's not really
Why
Bran
would
Stark
he care?
anymore.
Why would he care
He
enough
said,
to,
"I'm not
to help
I'm
you?"
not him anymore. I'm not Bran anymore. Like I remember what it feels like to be Bran Stark, but I'm not that."
But that's what
anymore.
you're asking. Why
But,
would he care
So
enough
why
to
would he
plot
care to help? But I guess
to get rid of Littlefinger?
Okay.
To serve justice, because you know what? He's Ned Stark's son, whether he's the three-eyed raven or not.
right.
And his honor, you would think, would lead him to.
I mean, like this is the motherfucker that set the whole thing in motion. Finally got what was coming to him.
Well, we're not
So-
quite there
okay.
yet, but yeah, she plays it like Arya would turn on her for betraying Jon, and then Baelish asks, he says he plays this game.
Love it.
What's the worst reason someone could possibly have for doing the things they do? Arya could want her dead. She came to Winterfell to kill her for marrying their enemies and betraying her father. The letter provides proof of her betrayals, and after she kills you, she becomes Lady of Winterfell. That's where it fell apart. She never wanted to be Lady of Winterfell.
Arya didn't.
Arya didn't. We know that.
No, but Littlefinger doesn't.
No, well, we know that. I mean, that's
We
where
know
it
that.
falls apart.
Well,
to
that's
us.
what we know.
Yeah.
Because Littlefinger doesn't know.
No.
He doesn't know Arya.
And the
like
best,
that.
the best part to me is that he never played out the scenario that happened.
No.
He's got so cocky. He never thought that was even a possibility that anybody would be smart enough to figure
And he
him out.
kept giving her all that advice to play out all possibilities in
Yeah,
your mind,
that's what I
fight
mean.
all
He didn't
battles
do it.
everywhere in your mind. He fucked up and didn't follow his own advice. Yep.
After
Or otherwise, he wouldn't have been standing in that fucking room.
right. Yeah.
He'd have been long gone
Yeah.
if he'd have foreseen what was happening. But he thought he had them all wrapped up and played, but nope, they got him.
We go to Dragonstone where Jorah tries to talk Dany out of traveling with Jon. I wonder why.
Yeah.
I don't want you
Right.
guys on a boat together for...
Friend zone.
Yeah, Cologne.
The friend zone cologne.
Theon asks to speak with Jon, and he says, "You risked everything to tell the enemy the truth." Theon thinks Jon always takes the right step and makes the right decision. And Jon's like, "Look, I have regrets." He's like, "Not compared to me." Yeah, no, not compared to you.
No. This is the only part in the episode where I welled up.
Well, Theon thought he had to make a choice between Stark and Greyjoy, and he goes, "Look, he's a part of you. And for what I can forgive you for, I do.
But the way he words it though, because
no
like
choice
when he
is
says
necessary. You're a Stark and a Greyjoy."
yes, but when he was saying it, he said like when he even got mad at him and stepped up to him, like he was like, "Our father."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he
Talk
was-
about Ned. He didn't
absolutely.
even hesitate to say that. Even after all the shit they've been through, he stepped up and said, "Our father was more of a father to you than yours ever was."
Right.
You know, he's a part of you. Like that was, dude, it's fucking choking me up right now a
Yeah.
little bit. But then when he says that, I forgive you. Like basically, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he now wants to repay the favor to save Yara.
Yeah.
For her trying to get
Save
him out,
him,
even
yeah.
though he didn't go. And it was just like, welcome back, Theon. You were a dick, but now you're not.
Yeah, I love how they brought that back into him, right?
Come on,
They,
that deserves a high
Yeah.
five.
Well, then he like the
He
knee,
doesn't have one.
the
and now
knee to
he
the
doesn't
nothing,
want
and he
one.
just looks up at him like, yeah, not gonna work on me. But then the nasty headbutt that just explodes the dude's nose, like
Well,
Jesus
yeah, he gave that
Christ.
speech to Yara's men, and they want to sail east and find an island to rape and pillage. And
Go
the
back
guy-
to their old ways.
The
yeah.
guy spits in his face and tells them to
tells him to run away, and they fight, and he tells him to stay down or he'll kill him. Knees him in the no dick repeatedly, and Theon kills him. You know,
Did he kill him?
I just thought, what is dead may never die. No, Theon.
Was he dead though? Was dude dead?
Yeah,
you
I
think?
think the guy's dead.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because
And then he said, "Not for me, for Yara," and they all rod behind him, and they're in. You know,
Right.
he stood up from. I saw when he killed that dude with the rock or whatever the fuck he hit him with at the end. It was like he was hitting him with something in his hand. I thought.
oh no, I thought
could
he
be
was just hitting him
wrong,
with his
but
fist.
it looked like there was something that
See,
he was smacking
Theon,
him with.
dude, there's been a couple like when Theon tried to cut dude's head off way back, and he couldn't do it.
Right.
You know, he'd do it and then he kicked it off. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
it's almost that same thing. He wasn't. I think he was just punching that dude. You know, like a fucking pussy would
I'll have
punch
to-
you. You know
I'll
what I'm
have to
saying?
watch
Like
again.
you know, like
Yeah,
that. You know,
maybe.
like I think he was
He
just
was
like
following
just
through like a
hammering
motherfucker,
through into
man.
the fucking side of that dude's head. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like that was a good redemption scene for Theon. Do you
But
think
there was
he-
somebody in the background going. They nodded after he did it.
Yeah.
Like fuck yeah, man. Where's that guy been?
Right.
Like he's gonna end up in charge
Well,
of their thing instead of Yara. Like because he's gonna save her, she's gonna go. You saved me. You're
Okay,
You know what I
that's-
mean?
that's obvious,
This is
yeah.
your redemption now,
Right.
and it's this is
So
your.
you think he
rightful
turns out
spot.
to be one of the redemption stories that gets
Yeah.
a happy ending?
Yes, I think so for the most part.
Because he's been through some of the worst shit in the show.
I mean, I'd be okay with him just eating it, but he's got to
no,
save
I mean,
Yara.
like I'd be sad at this point for him now too. I can't say that I would have felt the same way back in the day, but like after he redeemed himself and saved Sansa,
Right.
You know, like did kind of bitch out on the boat again, but I guess I kind of get it. Post traumatic stress syndrome, like they
Right.
don't know shit about that. It's PTSD, like.
Yeah.
That's what that shit was on the boat,
Yeah,
man.
he-
Like all that shit going down. Like he looked
saw
around for a
stuff
second
getting
and
cut
was
off
like,
and-
"Oh no,
No more stuff. I want to be able to talk at least. We go to Winterfell, and Sansa calls for Arya to be brought into the Great Hall. Honor demands that she defend her family in the north, and Baelish smirks. And then, accused of murder and treason, how do you answer, Lord Baelish? And did you see his eyes flutter? Like
Yeah, he's like,
they flipped in his
well,
head.
that's because he was like sitting there looking at Arya, like,
Like,
yeah, bitch, you're going down
Yeah,
now.
he's just like-
what? She just said my name.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, that never occurred to me.
No. This.
So, yeah, he didn't play out this scenario. He thinks he can talk his way out of it because he doesn't think of Bran. None of you were there to see it, but the thing he failed to remember, Bran got the season 1 DVD for Christmas. He just watched that episode where it ended
Yeah.
with Baelish putting his knife to his throat. He thinks he can explain everything, and she tells him about how she assumed the worst about his reasons for turning her against her sister. That's what he did to her mom and aunt. Becomes a little bitch crying about how he loved her mom and now her more than anyone. And then
Dude on his knees crying.
now she didn't even give the "you're dead" command, and Arya slit his throat. She didn't even. Sansa didn't decree you're sentenced to death. She didn't say that.
No, she
Arya
looked at
just
Arya-
went up and.
She looked over at Arya and nodded.
I mean, I get they probably discussed it in
Like, that
advance,
was the-
but it
that
felt
was the
like a
goal.
little against protocol.
No, it may be a little bit against protocol, but I think everybody in the room was okay with it.
No, it's cool. I get it, but
like she gave it.
Yeah.
It wasn't she gave the same nod that Cersei gives to the Mountain later on, except the Mountain doesn't follow through.
Right.
But she gives Arya that she turns and looks at her and nods, and then she looks back at him and she says, "I thank you, Lord Baelish, for all you've taught me, all your lessons.
yeah.
I will never forget them for the rest of my life."
Right.
And then Arya, I love the no hesitation. Like there was no like her pulling up the
But
knife,
he was on
staring
her
him down.
list, right?
No,
He wasn't?
he was never on her list.
Really? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was. That's
I don't
fine.
think she knew anything about him until Bran told them.
Okay, that's fine.
You know?
I'm cool
But she
with that,
walks up,
too.
cut his throat. That motherfucker died.
Still talking.
Still talking. If you watch the subtitles, you can see him. He's just like, he's bleeding out his neck. Still, you're still trying to talk your way out of it.
Yeah.
Still, you're bleeding to death, and you're still talking. Just shut up, man.
Yeah.
It's over with. Die. And he falls on the ground. You see the pool of blood come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Good death of a good villain.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's more to him later that I think we need to discuss.
Okay.
In
Like
King's-
consequences
in-
of things that he's done, or what?
Yes, in
Okay,
King's
cool.
Landing, Cersei isn't playing along with the war plan. She admits the monsters are real that they heard about growing up.
but while they fight, we'll take back our land. Like, you're a fucking idiot. You're not getting what's happening here. And he says, whoever wins the North will come for us.
I mean, he explains exactly what's happening. He's like, you do understand somebody's going to win that fight, right?
Then they're coming for us either way. Cersei focuses on the third missing dragon, and she seems to think the Iron Bank is the trick up her sleeve. You know, it's just
Okay,
not...
man. Like she said 100,000.
Wait,
Daenerys said, "I saw them, 100,000 dead men."
yeah,
You said 20,000 troops.
right. They're just going to end up on the other side.
They're just going to end up as
Right.
meat for the army of the dead.
So she points out that Euron didn't walk away. He's on his way to Essos to get the Golden Company. And she accuses Jaime of treason for heading north, and he tells her to kill him the same way that Tyrion did.
They both throw
Yeah,
it
they
in her
both
face.
demanded, kill me.
Do it. Give the order then.
But she gives the order, sort of.
See, I don't understand that part. So that was only half the order?
Yeah.
That was the pull your sword out of its sheath order?
Yeah, like...
That wasn't the cut him
Go
down?
ahead.
Or
Yeah.
was it the mountain like, you sure about this,
yeah,
bitch?
that's
like,
basically it. You sure?
right.
No.
And then she said, I don't believe you. But then she kind of like chased after him a little bit. She kind of
Because she loves him. That's
Absolutely.
why. She doesn't want to do that. She's so alone now. I'm not trying to feel bad for her.
No, but she
But
is.
look at her point. When she was standing there, the only one she has is Qyburn in the mountain.
Mountain.
And he's
And-
nothing, and Qyburn is nothing.
Like Qyburn is not a sentimental person.
Right.
He's not the type to like
He's not loving.
He's
and-
pure.
yeah.
He's pure science. This dude, and magic or whatever supernatural. This dude wants to understand that shit. At regards, like
Yeah, it
with
doesn't-
all
nothing
disregard
else
to
matters.
life, or yeah,
So Jaime rides away, and snow starts falling in Winterfell.
in the
in
in King's Landing.
Yeah.
Like I said, the nice subtle theme song they played behind it was cool, but it made
Yeah.
it feel super Christmassy. Like I was getting like
Oh, yeah.
the feeling of
Like Home Alone or something.
what's the old one with the Scrooge? What do they call it? What's the name of that? A Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Even the like the music playing, you could have put the you could have put like the sleigh bells behind the music, and it would have fit. Like I don't know, it was a little Christmassy for me. It was okay.
Right.
I get the significance of the snow falling on thing, but I get this is I don't know, the more and more I'm talking myself through it, the more and more I guess I did like it. But the music was like, here's the calm before the storm. Here's some pretty
Yeah.
snowfall and King's Landing. You have no idea what this means.
Right. Yeah. We go to Winterfell, and Bran and Sam join each other, and Sam didn't think he'd remember him, and he's like, "I remember everything." Well, fuck, dude.
Right.
Okay, that's fun.
Well, see, but then he says, I remember everything, but then
Why
he has
did you
to
come
fuck-
here? Why did you come here? He asks. Right after that.
And then he says, well, John's a bastard. Well, no, he's not, because there's this information in his book.
But he never went and. But that was my favorite thing because of this.
But you know
Remember-
everything, but you
remember-
don't know everything until you go and look at it.
But remember, but he said I remember everything. Everything he's ever done, he does remember. That's what he was saying there. That's different than saying I know everything. But he did then go, why are you coming here? But then, okay, so what
No,
you
saying
just said,
I remember everything.
he said, I
was-
didn't think you'd remember me. And he goes, I remember everything. Like,
So everything that just happened to him, I thought
Everything
I
that
thought
he's
when he
seen.
said that was everything.
well, right. That's how it felt. And then it was shot down by, why'd you come here, by the way?
Right. And everything that has happened and everything that is happening now or something like
Fuck,
that.
I had
He
something
said-
I wanted to talk about that was
Sorry, did I
really
shit on
good. No, it was really good there, and I can't remember what it is now. He said he remembers everything, but he says, I became the three-eyed raven. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what that means.
Like he gets that response every time he says
Yeah.
that to somebody. I mean, I don't know. Like the three-eyed raven thing is another weird thing to me. Like, why is that the title?
Because it's a three-eyed raven.
I understand that's why Bran would call it that, but like, wouldn't the guy be like, no, that's not what you call me. You call me this.
His name was Bryden,
When did
or
he say that?
Brynden, or something like that. It was in the thing at some point. That's people keep mentioning it. Oh, the thing I wanted
Oh, I
to talk
looked up-
about.
I looked
Stop.
up
Wait,
Bryden.
just one
Go
second
ahead, sorry,
before
go
I
ahead.
forget it again. That when Bran said that to him in a minute, we're going to talk about it. But when he said, "This is the thing," and then Sam goes, "Actually, I read the books."
Right.
That's what it felt like to me. It felt like the show watchers versus the book
Right.
the book readers, where they were like, "Actually, in the book." like somebody watching the show guesses something and they're just like, no, it's this because I've read the book. Seriously. So yeah, he says, John needs to know the truth. He's the son of Rhaegar and Lyanna. His last name is Sand, not Snow. And then he's like, no, he's not a bastard. And then he goes and flashes back to, we finally get to see Rhaegar, and he looks just like fucking Viserys.
Viserys, yeah.
And we find out that Robert's rebellion was built on a lie. Littlefinger. Had to be.
It was him all along,
If
man.
he starts the rumor...
So how did he
that
not know?
Rhaegar-
So how did he miss who John was then?
Maybe he didn't. But why would he tell anybody? He's not the type to just blurt out information.
No, I understand that, but like,
Maybe he knew. But why would he tell that? That's another error that he has to deal with. He's probably loving the fact that if he knows, he's probably loving the fact that he knows and nobody else knows.
relishing in it, yeah, he would
Yeah.
relish in something like that.
Right.
They never gave any indication that he knew that information.
No, but he did.
That was a secret. I think that was a secret that only.
How great would it be if he was the one who fucking started that rumor, though? That Rhaegar and Lyanna that he kidnapped her rather than.
You know what?
eloped.
You might be right because.
'Cause that starts Robert's rebellion.
Sansa and Littlefinger were in the crypt a few seasons back, right before she was getting ready to marry Ramsay.
Okay.
And she says, how many thousands had to die because Rhaegar chose your aunt?
Right.
And she says, then, yeah, he kidnapped her and raped her. Like, Littlefinger's looking at her like, yeah, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah.
You know, he does got this look on his face like he knew something she didn't. So maybe he did know.
Why it benefits
but
him in no way
Bran
to
did
tell
say
that.
that he was the only one. Oh, Littlefinger was dead at that point, wasn't he?
Yes.
Okay. So then he would be the only one that would have known that if
Yeah.
saying that.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it's undetermined
It's
whether Littlefinger.
conceivable that he
it's
started
conceivable-
everything in
It's
this show.
conceivable that it's not more than conceivable. It's probable.
Well, he created everything post dragons, like all of the conflict post dragons. He could have potentially created. No,
He
post
played
Mad King.
He played on situations.
Or
no, even during the
he would
Mad
have got
King.
the Mad King
Right.
usurped essentially.
Right.
Then
So he was playing both sides the whole time. So he was playing all the sides, not both sides,
Right.
more than one,
Yes.
more than two sides. He was
he's
playing.
watching every possible scenario play
Right,
out.
except for that one.
Except for that one. John knocks on Dany's door. She lets him in. Now, people were talking about why Tyrion was waiting outside.
Okay, so
And
why do you think he was?
I think that it was because I don't think it was any sinister reason, like he's gonna turn on him or any bullshit like that. I think it's
No, I don't think that.
people
that
were
thought didn't cross my
speculating
mind.
that, but I think
No, I think the thought crossed my mind because he doesn't know if it's a good idea what they're doing.
only because
Political
it will-
reasons and things like
right,
that.
only because when they go to the north, if he's fucking her, then they're gonna wonder why he bent the knee. I think that's why
That's
he's
part
worried
of the,
about how
the
it'll.
political reasons, all the ramifications of
Right.
what they're doing. Because it's not. He's being left out of the loop as the hand of the queen.
Right.
First of all.
Okay, so he could just be annoyed by that.
Well, he's not that small of a person, figuratively.
What do you mean?
He's
He's not that petty, you mean?
he's not petty. That's to
Okay.
be annoyed by that.
No, it's not annoyed.
But
It made him look foolish in front of Cersei.
That being left out of information that could
Right.
yeah, and he doesn't know that this is a good idea, like politically yet. Like he's not sure like how this is going to look to the northern families
Right.
and things like that. Right? Like he's always thinking of that kind of shit.
Right. Next, we go to the Tower of Joy, and his name is Aegon Targaryen.
Aegon Targaryen.
But how quick was that scene? That's why I'm saying we
Oh,
could
yeah,
get
no.
anything. You can't talk with it away from your face. But yes, I think that's why we could potentially get some of those other
They
scenes
can
real
throw.
quick.
They've proved to us this season and last season
Yeah.
that they can throw information at us quite quickly. I
Right.
do understand that.
Right. Aegon and...
But okay, you know you're going to agree with me this, and you probably already said this, but like
Okay.
you said it was you used the example of Dexter, like Deb getting killed like the second to last episode. You had no time to emotionally
invest in it, yeah.
and like
see the impact of what it meant.
emotional impacts.
Yeah.
Like, do you think we're being robbed of some of that with the shortened season? I don't feel like it, but like
Like, give me an example though.
I don't
of,
know, like I
of
like
what would
shit
be better
happening,
with
like there's the information, like us being able to absorb the information that's being thrown at us and process it
as quickly
and
as it's coming at
as
us.
quickly as it's coming at us this season. Is it too fast?
I don't know that it. No, it's fine.
I think
mean,
it is.
The pacing's fine. It's just the annoyances that is the thing we've expressed over and over again. The books are going to be longer than any of the previous books, and we're getting shorter seasons. It's bullshit. We should be getting more story. That's all I'm saying.
You know who is petty?
Yeah, I know who's petty. The guy who had to talk shit about the finale of Lost.
You're petty for coming up with that every single fucking time we bring the guy up.
It's the thing that put me on his bad side,
I know.
and then he continues to do it with shit like this. It's like, just fucking tell them what the ending is. Quit being a douche about it. And
See, I'm saying more. There's been more than a few times last season and this season listening to that shit after the show, where it totally
They seem
sounds
like
like
they
that's
don't
the
know-
case.
yeah.
They don't know
right.
the full details. They're guessing. They're writing this themselves. They're writing the end of this story that they've been telling themselves, without the source material.
So that's why it feels like the abridged version.
It almost
And it's
does a
going so
little bit.
quickly. There's
As
no
much
way
as
the
I
unabridged
enjoyed
version-
it,
Yeah,
it,
no, it's
it
great.
did.
It's still great so
Yeah.
far. There's some cracks in it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon had to go on Twitter and defend a title card that somebody at Adult Swim put after an episode of Rick and Morty. It cut to a thing, and it was a title card, and it just said Game of Thrones writing 2011 to 2016 in brackets.
Like it died.
Well, like the writing
shit.
died this season. Anyway, Aegon and Daenerys
That's what I'm
fuck.
saying. But I can totally understand that if that source material for them to pull from isn't there.
Right. So Aegon and Daenerys consummate their relationship, and he's.
Aegon. So are we going to refer to him as that?
I
now?
am. He is Aegon Targaryen from forever for me. He's not Jon Snow anymore. I referred to him as Jon Snow up until this point. He is
See,
Aegon. I wonder if anybody else guessed that.
Like, I don't think
People
that
guessed R plus L equals J. I wonder if anybody guessed R plus L equals A.
same person.
I know,
But
but they would have had to connect that extra dot to say John is Aegon, like his real name is. I wonder if anybody guessed that.
Right.
Because people
Or-
guessed his
well,
parentage, but they
you-
I don't remember hearing anything about the
but
name.
guessing his name, like that, maybe they didn't guess that she gave him a name.
Right.
You know. Anyway, Aegon's a good name. I like this Aegon the Conqueror, man. That's the guy who came and took over the ride on the back of Valyrian the Dread and
Right.
took over the Seven Kingdoms.
Right.
It's cool. Now, my only challenge to you saying I'm referring to him as Aegon all the time, John's the reluctant hero, man. He's not just going to be like, fuck yeah, I'm Targaryen. Like, he's not going to be like that. Like, if somebody tells him he's the heir to the Iron Throne, he's going to be like, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with that.
We had a friend who, my friend Farah's mom, everybody called her Mrs. O or Mama O. And I was like, what does the O stand for? And she told me Otheria. And from that moment on, I referred to her as Otheria. If I know if I know your proper name, that's what I'm going to refer to you as.
Okay, but what if he says, I don't want that name?
Well,
I'm going to keep
we'll
Jon
see.
Snow.
I mean, he's probably not going to want it, but that is who he is.
I understand that, but he's been going by Jon Snow his whole life, so he could very just as easily say,
But
nah,
if
I'm
any
gonna
of
keep
if he
Jon.
takes any of the stuff from it, he's going to go with his name. We're getting to a point that we didn't
That's what I'm
that I
saying.
didn't think was going to happen, and that was the direction they went with them hooking up. I see where it's going now, and it's going to he's gonna fucking Ned Stark it and be like, I can't hook up with my aunt, and she's gonna be pregnant, and he's gonna have to do something to either to lie about the kid the same way that he had to lie that he was lied about.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same bullshit.
It's bittersweet.
Like
ending
I
where,
didn't,
like,
I don't.
his son has to grow up as a bastard.
Maybe, but I think that Daenerys maybe dies during childbirth, and then he's stuck with the kid. But I don't know. There's a million ways it could go, but I didn't think they were going to go the direction of they're gonna fuck, and then he's gonna find out, and then he's gonna have this moral decision to make of can I fuck my aunt, when they're clearly into each other, and it's
I mean, they all but said that at the end.
But
Like,
Ned
he said,
Stark
like,
isn't going to. The Ned Stark in him is not going to allow him to do it.
No, you're right.
And that sucks. It's like either just do it or don't. I would have preferred him not hooked up with her at all. But it's lame that they're going that route with the
I mean,
the,
like
the
I
struggle
can't,
with
like
it.
I can't like.
I didn't see that.
At this
part of it
point, I
coming.
can't like be mad at him for it. He doesn't know.
No,
she doesn't
I'm
know.
not mad at him at all for doing it. I didn't want them to hook
We
up.
know as an audience, but
Not even because of that. I just didn't feel the connection. I didn't care about them as a thing.
That's because it wasn't.
It was rushed. I
But
get
they've
that.
been saying that, John and Daenerys, since like season 3 when they were like on the cover together.
I just,
You know?
I never wanted it to go that direction, or was hoping for it anyway. But so anyway, Bran tells Sam that John's the heir to the throne, that Aegon is the heir to the throne, and he says, someone should tell him. Maybe let Sam do it. You're not. He's gonna be like, God damn it, I forgot it. You looked so pretty on the night you were fucking your aunt.
Big what? My
To
aunt? What?
Aegon.
What's?
He's gonna say that to him.
Can you be more clear?
Yeah, could you explain that for me?
But no, Sam's definitely the one that's gonna let him know.
Hopefully it's
on.
not Bran, because he would say something creepy like
Right.
that. You had a really nice ass, John, when you were fucking your aunt.
I still think the Night King kind of looks like Bran Stark.
I still think we only got 7 episodes because they used all the CGI budget on Jon Snow's ass for the shot where he was fucking Daenerys there.
You think it's
No
CG?
human has that perfect of an ass. I'm just kidding.
Oh no, it is what it is.
It's real and it's spectacular.
Yeah. Dude, that's the second time I've heard that line today.
The
That's
Seinfeld
crazy.
line?
Yeah,
That's
they
weird.
told that. They said that on the radio earlier. They were talking about being at a restaurant called Twin Peaks in Chicago.
Yeah.
He's like, they're real and they're spectacular.
Nice.
Second time today. That's
Okay,
fucked
so we
up.
got 2 scenes left. Sansa and Arya talk about how she's the Lady of Winterfell. And Sansa ends up telling Arya, "You're the strongest person I know." And she's like, "That might be the nicest thing you've ever said to me." And she goes, "You're still very strange and annoying."
You're so very weird and annoying, right?
In winter, we must protect ourselves.
I
When
like
the
this
snow
scene that we finally
falls
got to see a fully heartfelt moment between
them,
those
like
two.
not some bullshit.
Yeah.
When the snow falls and the white winds blow, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. And they miss him. And
That part, okay.
Who was
sorry,
approaching Winterfell?
I lied. That
I
made
welled up
me,
a little bit there.
welled
But
up a little bit there
who
too.
was approaching in the background? Over the tower in the background behind them, I saw 3 figures moving. Did you catch that at all?
No, I did not catch that. I did catch how they panned down to the tower that Bran fell out of. They
Oh, I
pan,
didn't
like when
catch
they're
that.
standing there looking out,
Yeah.
and the camera kind of goes down a little bit, and the tower comes up from behind the tower.
they're
that
standing
Bran,
above
the
it?
broken tower. No, it's off in the distance. Like
That's okay. So that was the tower. Above that, it looked like there were.
I'll have to
people.
look. I'll have to look. I didn't see that
I
yet.
thought I saw some figures moving, but I could be wrong there.
So
Bran now is busy green seeing, and he goes to Eastwatch as a raven.
Almost like he's controlling the Night King.
Almost like he's just. I don't know that he knows, man. I don't know that he.
He's watching that. That's the
there's-
point of him green seeing.
he
He's
could
watching
have-
the crows.
But he could have been. He could have
I was just bullshitting right there.
become the children. If we're going with the Bran as the Night King thing, and Bran went back and got caught by the children, they could have unwittingly created him, not realizing that somebody who has green sight and can warg would be unstoppable
Right.
as an undead.
Yeah, they did it by accident.
Yeah.
Right.
Created a monster.
Now
so to
okay,
speak.
so like how like so he goes Bran goes back in time. This is going with the Bran is the Night
Okay.
King theory. Goes back in time, wargs into dude gets turned into Night King.
right?
Night King goes through the first long night, goes to sleep, wakes up in this time where Bran now actually exists
Right.
in the present.
Probably waiting for him.
So but that's what I'm saying. Like that's what makes that possible. Them existing in the same
Right.
reality,
Right.
per se.
Okay.
You know, I'm just trying to work my way through this theory.
What do
here.
you? Yeah. Okay.
And
So
it's
well,
probably a lot more-
we're right
Go
here.
ahead.
I got some stuff I need to say.
Okay.
Tormund and Beric are up on the wall. The others arrive.
The others?
Did you notice? That's what they call them in the book. Apparently.
Okay.
I was like, oh, they just ripped that off for Lost.
Or Lost ripped it off them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. For Lost, they ripped it
okay.
off from there because he said he had read the Game of Thrones books or the Song of Ice and Fire books. He was super into them. Damon Lindelof.
Before
He made Lost. Yeah, he knew of them before.
But how many of them were out before that? 'Cause
2 or 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But did you notice that when they came out of the woods, that there were like the 4 horsemen again?
Yeah.
And the way that they were like circled around them, coming out like tits.
Yeah.
For each one, like they
Each
were
one has their
clearly, this
own-
is how much they can control.
Right.
this many. So that's probably why they were amassing an army of White Walkers, was so that they could control more dead. They probably have a
Yeah.
limit to how many dead they can
Yeah.
control.
Well, yeah, because when they killed the one, there was the one still left over.
Yeah.
So, like, it's got to be in the vicinity, or, like, how many, like,
Right.
does the Night King have control now over those White Walkers that, like, it's like a connection here, spread out to where if you kill the Night King, those White Walkers
know.
die, everything dies?
Not sure. That would be like zombie. That would be like vampire-ish.
Like you kill the Night King.
original,
See,
yeah.
Barrack said it though.
What?
You kill him,
Yeah.
and they all die.
Maybe.
He turned them all.
Yeah.
Now that's what. Yes, dude. That's why. So like now we've been waiting for the White Walkers for 6 seasons to cross the wall. This is what they've been doing.
Amassing their...
Amassing their army,
Yeah.
going through, clearing out all the wildlings, going back and forth throughout the north. You know what I'm saying? Like just taking out tribes, taking out.
Well, the whole thing with
Well,
Craster's kids, taking them, turning them into White
That
Walkers.
was they had a whole plan going on there that was been taking them
That's
this
been a long
long.
time.
Now it's
Okay.
here. Boom. They have the dragon was the last
So
part
wait,
of the plan.
How long was that going on before they showed up at the beginning of season 1, episode 1?
Who knows?
You think a while? Had they been
it had been a
back?
while because at that point, like even Osha, when we first meet Osha back in season 1,
Yeah. She was talking
she
about
says, "We're getting as far south as south goes,
Right.
because of what's going on up north." So yeah, this shit has been going on for a little while now, and the wildlings have seen it happening.
them.
So
it's
that's
not
why
direct correlation to when the dragons came back.
no,
Okay.
no.
So this is when we get the ice dragon showing up, and like I said, it looked a bit silly. The White Walker.
I
was a
will
bit
say that it
much.
looked silly. The part that looked silly to me was the Night King riding the dragon.
Yeah.
If he was on the ground, mind controlling it or whatever.
No, because
like
the
on a
holes
horse.
in the wings were cool.
Yeah, no, the way the dragon looked was cool.
It
Like,
degraded pretty quickly, though.
well, I would imagine that it took some damage when it hit the ground and crashed
But it
through
wouldn't
all
have
that
just
ice.
a couple holes in its wings like that. You'd think it would just like rip it or something. Yeah, I don't know. It
Yeah,
could-
well, yeah, it crashed through a bunch of sharp
Maybe,
ice,
I
like
guess.
frozen ice, really hard, fell out of the sky.
So it does shoot blue fire,
Okay.
and I hoped for it with Man in Black, and I hoped for it with the Night King. I want them to be misunderstood. I don't want it to be, because George R. R. Martin is quoted as saying this is not a story of good versus evil. It's just not. So
See, now that's what. See,
I want
see,
him to
now
be
that's what-
misunderstood.
I wonder if that's what he's saving. Like the writers now, the people who have to finish his story to finish their show,
right,
have dumbed it down to a battle between good and evil.
Right.
When that wasn't the original intention, and
Right.
he's kept that part for himself.
maybe.
Because that's kind of what it seems like.
I just don't want the Night King to be pure evil. I hated it when they said it with Man in Black, and I hate it now. I don't want him to be the personification of evil. It's a cop-out. Just, there has to be a reason. I think I have at least a singular thought as to why the Night King could be trying to march south of the wall.
Okay.
What if he wants that kid back? What if he wants the the baby he didn't get? Sam's kid.
Okay.
Like
That could be
that's
the only
that's-
motivation?
No, but it's south of the wall. I don't know. Probably not, but it was just a thought. Like, why could he be wanting to go south of the wall? What's south of the wall that he wants? That was supposed to be his. That baby. I don't know that he would come down there for revenge on Sam, but you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that's part of it. Maybe he wants that kid still. Maybe it's nothing. I just hadn't put that connection together until I started thinking about it. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't jive with all the rest of it. I
And
get it.
I'm not saying that it doesn't jive, but the rest of it doesn't do anything for me.
Right. I
You
just
know?
hadn't thought
and,
of it.
you
It
know,
was
they could
just
pull
like,
that
oh,
out
that's
of their
cool.
back pocket later on, and
Right.
it'd be totally cool. Like, oh shit, like that's like
turns Sam's
that's
kid
heir.
right in
That's
front
like
of
the
him or
heir
something.
to the Night King, right,
Right.
there. Is little Sam.
So he took down the wall in, to me, the most underwhelming way possible. You didn't take down the whole wall. They had promised that there was... they hadn't promised, but they had said things about there being magic spells in the wall. And to me, you don't get to wipe away magic spells by using a magic dragon blowing blue
Puff the
fire
Magic
at
Dragon.
that
Darth Maul riding Puff the Magic Dragon.
Right.
Blue Darth Maul riding Puff the Magic Dragon.
we stumbled into
knocked
it. It's
down the
pretty
wall.
good. But it was that part of it, honestly, like, it was cool to see some of it crumble. I wanted the whole wall to go. For whatever reason, I just assumed that when the wall came down, it was going to have to do with magic in a bigger sense.
And it was going to be the whole
And it was
entire-
going to be the whole thing. And it was going to be like, what the fuck? It's gone. And imagine the devastation that would have caused. I get it. They needed to save Tormund and Beric. They needed to get over on the side that didn't fall and then survive. So they're still alive after this. But
Well, I don't know. I think we talked about this briefly before.
the
but I
wolf
think
headshot is one of the last scenes of the season. If you haven't watched it yet, we've been talking about Bran being the Night King. And if you see that overhead shot just when they start crossing the wall or when they've already crossed
Yeah.
it a little bit, it looks like the sigil from the Stark house.
it looks like the
wolf.
dire wolf sigil.
The dire
Yeah.
wolf, and there's no reason for it to be in that shape other than it was put that way because the creators used CGI to place these things. So there's no fucking way it's an accident. So tell me that's not something. I just it's something. It
I think
can't
it's
be
something
nothing.
too. Yeah. There's not a whole lot in this show that's been nothing.
Right.
You know.
Uh-huh.
So
So that's the end of the episode. I mean, that's where we end for the season. Okay, the theories I already talked about. Sandor seeing his brother's death in the fire.
that's a good one. That's one of
Right.
my favorite ones from our discussion today.
Right.
Was that he's seen. That's the reason he's afraid of fire is because he's seen it.
Right.
His whole life, he knows that when he looks into the fire, he can see the future. And like, dude, even if you wanted, like, if you could do that, like, I don't necessarily know that you would be like all great about it all the time.
Right.
Like, you know, I don't think you would want to know all the time.
Right. No,
You know
I
what
can
I mean?
see that. I would not want to know.
No,
necessarily.
I don't think I would want to be like looking into fire all the time to see the future. I totally love the fact that you said that he looked effortlessly into the fire the first time. He's just like, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, now he can. No, he has that power.
Have you
He's
ever-
always had that
Have
power?
you ever
God, that
looked-
makes so much sense.
Have you ever looked at one of those paintings, or those pictures that you're
This show is
supposed to
going to
look
be
through?
us, where you blow my mind with shit every time we sit down. It's never me coming to those conclusions on my own. It's just you telling me cool shit. And being like, oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So somebody else had a theory as far as the motives of the Night King.
Okay.
As far as his motives go, I've heard a theory I like. In the lore books, it's said that the Children of the Forest and the First Men reached a pact on the Isle of Faces.
Right.
It's possible that the Night King was also present to represent the White Walkers. And he was part of the agreement. The reason the White Walkers just reappeared after thousands of years is because the pact was broken. No living men would have any knowledge of the pact, so they would have no idea they are breaking it. This is also supported by the symbols the White Walkers make with dead bodies, a spiral shape shown in the first episode.
Yeah.
Just, you know,
Okay.
it was something somebody threw out there. I thought it was kind of interesting that maybe there was a deal that was made and they were part of it, and now something about it was broken. Maybe it was nobody goes north of the wall. Maybe they wanted the wall. Maybe it wasn't to keep them out. Maybe it was to keep the fucking humans out of the north.
Then the wildlings. What about the wildlings?
That could have been the breaking of the pact thing.
Yeah, but the wildlings were like
Fens and
there.
the
though. They
wildlings
were
and
like they didn't like come from south of the
I don't
wall.
know.
They were already there.
Just a thought. You know,
Okay.
trying to look at it from another point of view
Yeah.
for them. I want to know their reasons, but I love
White
the idea
Walker.
that they could have been part of stuff back in the day. Like they make a peace treaty, and all three of them show up. Children of the Forest shows up, a White Walker, and one of the First Men, and they like have a pact that they make. Like I like the idea that they're representing their people
Politically in the Game of Thrones.
That sounds interesting to me. Yeah.
I like that. You know what? I think that you just mentioned that. That's something that we might get to see
What's
through
that?
Bran. Is that pact
If such
in
a
the
thing
Isle of
exists.
Faces? That'd be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind seeing the Isle of Faces.
Right.
All the weirwood trees with the faces carved into them.
Oh, okay. That's what that is.
That's an island
Okay.
of weirwood trees with all the faces carved into them. Because that was what solidified the pact, was the children carving the faces into the trees. To say that the cities and all the shit would belong to men, the deep forest would always belong to the children, and then they would no longer cut down the weirwood trees.
And maybe they cut some down.
Maybe
and that,
like
well,
south of the wall, like they don't have any weirwood trees. Like all the weirwood trees are up north now, like
Yeah.
where the old men and the first men's gods are
Yeah.
still worshipped. Which are the weirwood trees,
Right.
basically.
Somebody asked Bran, the actor who plays Bran, about the theory that Bran is the Night King. And he said, I think it's less that they're the same person and more that they're two of the ancient beings of Westeros. The Three-Eyed Raven has been around for God knows how long, and the White Walkers have been reported since the beginning of time. As we've seen, they were created by the Children of the Forest, so we can't get much more ancient than that. Perhaps we can think of it as these two characters, but think of it as these are two characters with a huge amount of power, but one is a Frankenstein's monster who is driven by nothing but hatred and violence. Then there's Bran, who uses his powers for good. I want to find out why the Night King is so obsessed with destroying mankind. We'll have to see if they have any kind of explanation in the next season.
Well, see, that goes back to the explanation you don't want, is that he's pure hatred and evil, and then he just wants to destroy.
I
That's
concur. That seems cheap. It seems like,
Yeah, no, I would want some motivation there.
yeah, I'd like to know why.
Why? Maybe it has something to do with just the being turned into the Night King.
Right.
Like even if it's not Bran, maybe it's just that he was turned into the Night King and he hates all living things now. Like he just wants revenge for having to live forever
Right.
and the fucking dragon glass being shown and having to be fucking cold all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Who wants to be cold all the time?
Okay, somebody sort of laid out the Bran as a Night King thing theory. So I want to go through it because we've never coherently gone through
Okay.
it yet. So, what if Brandon Stark is actually the Night King? What if everything that has happened in Westeros is Bran's fault? Even if you hate Ned Stark's son, this theory, which has actually been popular for a while, is pretty wild. Let's begin by piecing all the evidence. In Season 6, you recall the Three-Eyed Raven taught Bran how to finesse his green seer abilities to drift freely through time, past, present, and it says future at will, but I don't think so.
I don't see any future.
Bran has also the ability to warg into people's consciousnesses, just like he did with Hodor. According to some fans, those two abilities, green sight and the ability to warg, make him more powerful than the Three-Eyed Raven. However, the Three-Eyed Raven that promptly warned Bran that the past is already written and the ink is dry. He also warned Bran that the more time you spend inside someone else's body, the more difficult it is to leave. It's beautiful beneath the sea, stay too long and you drowned. Now, if you remember the Tower of Joy flashback, it seemed pretty clear that Bran has the power to influence the past as well as watch it. The Three-Eyed Raven certainly looked nervous in the flashback when Bran yelled "Father."
Yeah.
It was as if he knew the consequences of what they could be, without the consequences of his actions. Other evidence in both the books and show point to the fact that the Mad King, Aerys Targaryen, became mad after Bran attempted to warn him about the White Walkers. Burn them all was the Mad King's final order, which might be Bran warning him about the White Walkers. Other theories about Bran and time travel suggest he may in fact be one of the legendary Brandons he hears about in Old Nan's stories. Brandon the Builder, who built both the Wall and Winterfell to shield off the White Walkers, Brandon the Shipwright, etc. In a nutshell, according to these theories, Bran keeps traveling back and forth in time in a bid to fix things and destroy the White Walkers once and for all. But the most important piece of the puzzle is when Bran has a vision of when the Night King was born, as explained by a YouTuber. Thousands of years before the events of Game of Thrones took place, the Children of the Forest were at war with the First Men, who almost wiped them out of their sacred weirwoods. That is so the Jacob and Man in Black stuff of this show. Thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
In desperation, they captured one of the First Men and inserted dragonglass into his chest with a ritual on a weirwood tree. I forgot that it was on a weirwood tree.
Yeah.
That's how the first White Walker, the Night King, was created. As noticed by many commenters, Bran's real body in the Three-Eyed Raven's cave winces and clenches his fists as if he's experiencing the pain, as if he is the Night King's body, or is in the Night King's body.
He's doing what now?
He clenches his fists and winces a little bit when the dragon glass goes in. Bran warged into that man in an attempt to persuade them not to go through the process that would create the White Walkers, but since the ink is dry, that means he cannot change the past through time travel, only fulfill it. From that moment, he got stuck in the past and became the Night King, while the future Bran keeps moving in time in a desperate attempt to warn the people about the Long Night. The theory would explain how the Night King is always at the right place at the right time. All the events happening in Game of Thrones then just originate from Bran and will lead to Daenerys and Jon Snow fighting together to defeat him, stuck inside the Night King. This is how the show will end, according to
the Redditor. The theory also parts with Jon Snow being the prince that was promised, who eventually has to kill his little brother, Bran. Night King cannot kill Jon Snow at Hardhome then, can he? Giving us a bittersweet ending. Still not convinced. Well, I mean, it just kind of goes on from there, but...
I mean, to me, it, like, they've almost showed us the gun with the Hodor thing.
Right.
And the Bran as the
How it
Night
can
King
happen.
is going to be
You
the
know
fire.
what they did? They gave us some fucking rules that we can use to logic how we can get to this happens. That's what we need that's what we needed for the magic
For
thing,
magic.
You know? Okay, a couple questions that I have. Is there any chance Tyrion and Sansa end up together?
There's a chance. I don't see why not, because they were married. He was always kind to her.
Right, and maybe. I don't know.
mean,
it's just a thought.
He said before that he could one day rule the North.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, that would be a good tie-in to that.
Right, she'd be a lady of the Winterfell while Jon has to sit on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Or Aegon, sorry.
So, Gendry's missing again. Is he going to learn to create Valyrian steel? Like, I think they've set up him being a blacksmith or a swordsmith for that purpose. I know, like, we were talking and you said that he wouldn't have time to mass produce it. Would you stop knocking on the door? We're podcasting. Okay, well then walk through
Madeline,
upstairs.
just wait. I'll be done in a minute.
I think that he's going to end up being... I think that was why they gave us that backstory is all. That's where he's been. He's been working like that. And they're going to build up to getting the recipe for Valyrian steel via Bran. Sam has his Encyclopedia Brit Brannica available to him now, and he can literally just look up anything he wants to see. That's stolen from Reddit, by the way.
I don't think that the steel... I don't think is like a recipe for it. I think it's forged by Dragonfire.
Right, but they'll figure out, okay, well, we need to then... But I'm sure it's not just that. I bet you there's something else to it. Some chemical thing or
there's
something
somebody that can rework it.
Right.
Tywin said there's like 3 smiths in the whole entire world that can rework
the
Valyrian
one that was
steel.
already made.
Right.
To create it from scratch.
Not
right.
create it from scratch.
Right.
So what's the secret to creating it from scratch? Right?
What's the difference between Valyrian steel and dragonglass? In terms of it killing White Walkers, I'm going to put this out there. Dragonglass will not kill the Night King. Probably neither will Valyrian steel. Maybe Valyrian steel, but I don't think dragonglass, that made him.
Okay.
It's not going to break him too.
Do you think that Dragonfire, like, say...
No, I think he's safe from that.
Another hypothetical situation. The whole 3 dragons come swooping down during the frozen lake battle. Okay?
One burns him?
One just goes right at him.
No, I think he's fine. He has a safety bubble of...
Because like I was going to say, because when he walked over the Dragonfire, it wasn't just fire, that was Dragonfire that was on the ground. And he just went out.
I don't think that would...
Okay.
Did you ever notice how Ned named his 3 sons after people who were close to him? Robb is named after Robert Baratheon, Bran is named after Ned's brother Brandon, and Rickon is named after Ned's father.
Right.
But then, remember that Jon is named after Jon Arryn, the man who wasn't Ned's father, but raised him like a son.
Yeah.
Interesting little
I
connection
like
there. So, Reddit stuff now, more specifically. I think... I think it's likely Bronn will switch sides and join Dany through Tyrion. He basically states this directly when he tells Jaime something along the lines of, "Our relationship ends with dragons." However, Bronn is still a sellsword and will likely call upon Tyrion's original promise to him in order to join his side. If anyone offers Bronn more money to betray him, he'll double the fee. I mean, they did talk about this specifically.
They already specifically talked about it.
Bronn is owed a castle by Jaime and Cersei, so Tyrion would have to give Bran 2 castles.
Okay.
What's the only double castle in Westeros? The twins.
Yeah.
It's
I can
also
see Bronn
vacant
sitting
and
at
a
the head
damn
of the
good
twins.
prize. My prediction: House Blackwater rules the twins by series end.
Okay. House Blackwater. I like it.
Somebody puts, I don't think we've quite appreciated exactly how screwed Westeros is about to be. The Night King now has a dragon. So far, most discussions I've seen have focused on the dragon's power, as we saw when it breached the wall this week. But the dragon has a far greater power in the Night King's hands, its mobility. The Night King can now fly anywhere in Westeros relatively quickly, and he can raise the dead. Not only is this a place where people don't burn the dead, but due to the recent wars ravaging Westeros, there are plenty of corpses lying about or in mass graves. At the moment
the heroes think the battle will be fought in the north on a front defined by the advance of the army of the dead, but they're about to be proven horribly wrong. If the Night King takes off on a grand tour, the entire continent will be facing a zombie apocalypse overnight. Cersei thinks she can quietly rebuild her power while the fighting happens elsewhere. Wrong. Dany thinks her armies can march up the King's Road untroubled. Wrong. Euron thinks the Iron Islands or even Essos are a safe haven. Wrong.
Agreed.
Just a
Agreed.
good thought. That was by
You know who does
user
burn their dead?
Cake Flattener one.
Dothraki. The Dothraki.
They do burn their dead?
Yeah. So there wouldn't be a lot of like if you went over to Essos.
But a
there wouldn't be lot.
Dothraki white
Yeah.
would be interesting.
Yeah. Well, there's probably going to be some.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's not.
Oh, it's going.
I'll tell
to
you
happen,
what.
Right.
If anybody's got a shot of like putting up a decent fight against the whites,
Dothraki.
the fucking Dothraki.
Right.
Those motherfuckers were bad. The Unsullied too.
Right.
Like that's two armies of two like.
But not enough.
No, it's not. They're the armies in Westeros.
That's
like
why
the
they
Westeros,
showed it the way they
like
did.
the Lannister armies. They're well trained and well provisioned, but not like
No.
They're not raised from childhood to be soldiers.
Right, not like the Unsullied.
And the Dothraki.
Right.
They say the Dothraki start learning to shoot bows from horseback at 4 years old. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been raised to be warriors and soldiers. That's their culture.
Right.
You know, if you're not a warrior or soldier, then you're probably meat in the Dothraki culture.
Right. So somebody else said Samwell's Master Codex. He is Encyclopedia Brit Brannica.
Britt Brannica. He's got. I was trying to think of something.
To have the most curious character meet and partner with the most omniscient character is to create the internet in Westeros.
There you go.
Sam won't have to dig through books and tomes anymore. He can simply Bruegel the answer, and away we go. They are instantly the most powerful people in Westeros.
Well, especially
then
Sam
somebody
knowing
goes, Sam will
will
figure
know
out
how
how-
to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
being as curious as he is, he'll know how to ask the right questions and know how to relate this information to
that,
this
yeah.
information. Like it didn't take him long to go, wait, no, he's not a bastard.
Sam,
thing-
the only guy to not be paying attention to his wife and still remember
And
what
still
she
remember
said.
what she said. And like Gilly read, here's his most important line in the whole series, and Gilly fucking accidentally read it out of a book to Sam. And he must
To
he
be
must
fair,
have
he
like
had
a
to transcribe it though. He did
so
have
he
to
did have
eventually
to-
transcribe
So maybe
it,
he did then. He wrote that part. Or maybe she was helping him out a little bit,
Right.
transcribe some of that stuff.
Okay, so just to kind of somebody put a kind of funny thing to think about. This is the last thing I have here. Alistair Thorne was sent to the wall for being a Targaryen loyalist and ends up unknowingly shitting all over the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, Jon Snow / Aegon Targaryen.
Yeah.
And even takes part in betraying and killing him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did without even knowing.
Yeah.
Betraying the people he followed, stay loyal to.
Yeah. And that's why he ended up at the wall. That is what you call irony.
Yeah.
I mean, anything else you can think of? I mean, maybe we'll meet again to talk Game of Thrones if we come up with anything better than Bran as the Night King.
I mean,
Because I
love
love all the fun of it, man, but I don't think it's going to turn out to be exactly right. But fuck, I don't want to talk myself out of it either.
the Night King thing, Brandon.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
I do really like it.
It seems to make a lot of sense too.
I need to know
I
his
think maybe
motivation,
if we're gonna do another one, see now I think that Bran being the Night King, there's your motivation, is the fact that he
But
was.
what is he coming back for?
But he was
now?
turned into this thing, and he wants revenge because he was turned into this
On
thing.
whom, though?
The Three-Eyed Raven. He hates the Three-Eyed Raven and all living things
he
because
is
he was
it?
turned into this thing and had to live eternally in a frozen
You know
hell.
what that would explain? You know how like a stronger warg can kick another one out of a
Okay.
like if somebody was stronger than fucking the dude from The Office, the British Office, that was Mackenzie Crook, that was
Okay.
was a warg.
Yeah.
If somebody else stronger than him wanted to warg into that body, he would get booted back into his own body. And Bran, that felt sort of like what happened with the Night King when he looked at the Raven and made it stop, booted him out. He like kicked Bran out of the Raven.
Right.
It felt like. So if he's stronger because he's him in the future,
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that.
He has
thing's-
more
I'm telling you,
tenure and
some of the
more
ways
power.
the ways he looks at John,
yeah,
like he knows him. Dude.
that would be why he didn't kill him, like they're
yeah.
saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's something in there. Like, dude, that would be a much better story than, like you said, just being pure hate and evil. Maybe he could still be pure hate and evil, but also be
But
Bran
have a
Stark.
reason.
But have a reason for being that way.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Bran being turned into the Night King is a good reason for him to be angry.
Right.
and like, you know,
Because he went from somebody who could see anything to now he's stuck as the Night
to
King.
try to stop this, and I tried to stop it and create it, and like I don't know, I can't even
It's a
imagine what that
tragic
would.
character.
It is. It would be it'd be a John Locke style tragedy.
Well, we'll be back eventually.
I
I don't-
hate that I just did that. That's your thing, not mine.
This is how to watch TV.
Say that.
All these memories in my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind. I'm still a secret lemonade drink.